Yeah, Emily, I just wanted to chime in real quick. We just got a report from the Columbus Municipal Airport. They just gusted to about 71 miles per hour. That came in out of the south-southeast, and the time on that report was 3:14. So it literally, just within the last 60 to 90 seconds or so is when we saw that report come in. So again, if we go back to radar here, we can take a look at the Columbus area. You'll notice thunderstorms in the area, and you are under an active tornado warning at this time. However, it looks like the Columbus area, you're kind of on the back edge of that, so it's likely that we're just kind of starting to see the very strong gusty winds that we were talking about moving in behind these thunderstorms starting to get involved as well. But just wanted to pass it along. We do have a report from the Columbus Municipal Airport, gusted up to 59 knots, which is roughly almost 71 miles per hour.
Yeah, that strong wind threat is going to be the huge concern for everyone. That's what's most widespread. But again, this cluster here has a history of producing several tornado warnings. So can we take a look at the velocity there so we can kind of show everyone the rotation that we're picking up here on radar? Because when we say it's radar indicated, that means they haven't observed a tornado, but this is what they're observing. You can see these reds here and these greens here. That's showing a change in wind direction, winds moving toward or away from radar. And we start to see these kind of mixing together and coming close here, especially kind of signatures like this where we have kind of a little bit of an arc here. That is certainly showing that threat for rotation and that potential for tornado development. So this chunk of the line of storms is really producing the most rotation at this time. If we take a little bit of a wider view on it, you can see that it's not a widespread concern out across the entire line, but it's starting to shift a little bit more down to the south. So this is something we're going to have to watch as this line of thunderstorms kind of continues to make its way out to the east. Again, that strong wind threat going to be the biggest concern. This is why we have all of these severe thunderstorm warnings in place way ahead of this line of storms. It's because of that threat for up to 80-mile-per-hour winds. And that, again, brings in the concern for some tree damage, some power line damage, and power outages. And with that in mind, because we do have this tornado threat, make sure you have your severe weather plan in place. Make sure you have a way that you can stay on top of those watches and warnings, especially with that threat of tornado warnings that are going to be heading our way as we move through the afternoon and evening. Downloading our app is a great way to do that. You can stream us live on Facebook from your phone. We're going to be staying on top of this line of storms here as it continues to make its way all the way through the coverage area. Again, bringing in that huge concern for some very damaging and strong wind gusts. Now, Clay, do we have any more updates?
We're still getting continuations here on the severe thunderstorm warnings, and particularly the one that includes the western edge of Douglas County. So that's why you heard the siren sound, and I don't know if we touched on that quite yet. There's just a little sliver of Douglas and Sarpy County that got issued in that severe thunderstorm warning with what is considered a destructive tag. And we started talking about these tags recently within the last year or so. Basically, severe thunderstorm warnings go from regular to considerable to destructive. And when you see the destructive tag, it turns into a little bit of a bigger deal. And so Cass County, Dodge County, Douglas County, Gage, Johnson, Lancaster, Odo, Pawnee, Sarpy, Saunders, and Washington County. It's a very long severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4:15. When the National Weather Service, it's really not an if, it's when the National Weather Service extends that severe thunderstorm warning to include Omaha, Bellevue, areas like that, you'll likely hear the sirens go off again. But for now, if you're watching from downtown Omaha, areas like that, we are not immediately under the threat. So when you heard those sirens a few minutes ago, probably made quite a few people nervous. But at the moment, that threat is still a little ways away at this point. The Weather Service has sent out an official storm report for that wind gust in Columbus. They actually dialed it down. They went 68 miles per hour instead of 70. And we do have a continued, of course, tornado warning up to the northwest of the metro, around Columbus. It's a little bit north of Columbus now, but again, it is moving northeast at 70 miles per hour. And so these thunderstorms are just rolling very, very quickly across this area and taking those tornado threats with it. As we take a look here, what I wanted to look at was perhaps some of the storm reports and show you here what we're looking at. Not only are we seeing the wind reports come in, we're also seeing that report around Humphrey of possibly either a tornado or a funnel cloud. So we can click on that report. There it is, tornado on the ground, in fact. And the time of that report came into the 911 call center, and that was at 21:13. So that was around 3:13, just roughly 10 minutes ago when that report came in. So again, guys, right around the Humphrey area, that report is something that we'll need to keep a close watch on. We're seeing some hail reports as well, which is a little bit surprising. But again, right up there around half-dollar size hail reports coming in around the Columbus area here at this point. So that's about what I have here on the chat and the new reports that are coming in. We do have a spotter reporting heavy rain in the Norfolk area. Evidently something going on with the wind sensor because it says 0 miles per hour for the wind. So likely not dealing with that right now. It's probably blowing a little bit harder than that. But Emily, I'll get you back to the wide view here on the radar and let you just catch folks up on what's going on here on the radar.
Yeah, we're keeping a close eye on this. We actually have some crews on the ground. We have meteorologist Mallory Schnell out live, and I believe we can take her picture now to show us what we're seeing. Mallory, is she able to talk to us about what she's seen right now?
Hi, Emily. Hopefully you can hear me okay. We are heading westbound on Dodge right now. We just passed the intersection there at 90th. This is a bit of the calm before the storm, I'd say, here in central Omaha. Once again, we are seeing other cars on the road, as you can see from the live picture here. But thankfully, hopefully, I should say, people are heading home. And of course, a lot of those virtual school days today. So I'd say traffic quite a bit less than what we typically see on a typical Wednesday around this time, around 3:30. But as I mentioned, a bit of a calm before the storm here. We did feel a couple gusts heading into the storm tracker once we were getting out on the roads this morning. But we've been somewhat protected by those southerly winds as of right now. So we're just seeing the dark skies. Of course, it's still dry here. We did hear those sirens not too long ago. And we are heading once again west on Dodge. We might be able to feel more of those wind gusts once we get on the elevated portion of Dodge Expressway. But we are heading toward the portion of Douglas County that is currently included in that severe thunderstorm warning, I believe until 4:15 for those destructive wind speeds up to 80 miles per hour. But as I'm seeing right now, a few more cars on the road right now. Once again, dark skies, and we're just kind of bracing for impact as this line of storms continues to march our direction. I'm sure we will have more updates as the afternoon and evening commences, but for now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks so much, Mallory. We're keeping a close eye on all of this as these storms approach, bringing in that concern for some areas of strong gusts and the potential for some embedded tornadoes within this. Now, Clay, you've pulled up that radar wind speed, and this shows us where we have that rotation in that area of concern. And this is exactly where we have all of these tornado warnings that have been issued. You can see here where we have these reds and the greens, that's showing a different wind direction, and that's showing some rotation here. This is what's prompted some of these tornado warnings, is that indicated rotation on radar with that potential for a few confirmed reports. Clay, do you have a report to share with us?
Yeah, Emily, let's go to the area of the new tornado warning. Just got issued, and it's going to just clip the northwest corner of the Lincoln metro area. But this is a brand new tornado warning issued for a portion of Lancaster County as well as Seward County until 4 o'clock. Here's what the information says. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Pleasantdale. You can see that there on your screen, or approximately 9 miles west of Lincoln, and again, moving northeast at 85 miles per hour. Guys, if you are in this warning, you need to go ahead and move to your safe location immediately because of how quickly this potential tornado is moving. Let's take a quick check at the velocities in the area since we're here. And see what we're seeing here. And again, Emily, just kind of looking around, it appears to be once again one of these very small little areas of rotation kind of coming at the radar site here, going away pretty quickly right there. And that's the small little area right over Highway 6 and I-80 that we're seeing out there right now, potentially crossing I-80 as we speak here. So that's going to be in the Emerald area. And I'll go ahead and drag this out and show you what we're looking at. I probably can't even make it go that fast. Let's see. Here we go. 85 miles per hour, and I'll just time it out for you here over the next couple of minutes. So in 10 minutes, it'll pretty much be outside of the warning area, getting in on Highway 70 and the Woodlawn area by about 3:29. So you have about 4 minutes in Woodlawn to prepare for a possible tornado moving in your direction.
And that's a big risk with today is just how quickly these storms are moving. We're going to be seeing them tracking through so fast that we have these very short-lived tornado warnings. And that means you really need to be prepared ahead of time as this line of storms approaches you, just because of how quickly it's making its way in. There's really going to be very little headway as far as the time you get that tornado warning to the time that it's going to be making its way to your area, just because of how fast these storms are tracking through. It's going to be a huge concern for us as we're rolling through the afternoon and on into the early evening hours. Clay, do you have another report?
Yeah, we have a new tornado warning as well. I just wanted to, they're coming in very quickly, Emily. This is a new tornado warning for an area that is already under a tornado warning. The area of Colfax County, Cumming, Stanton County until 4 o'clock. Basically what the Weather Service is saying is there's another area of rotation capable of producing a tornado near one that was already going on. And both of those areas of rotation, which is approximately 23 miles north of Columbus or around the Lee area, they're both moving at 70 miles per hour. We were kind of seeing that here on the velocity before we left this area. So let's kind of have a look. And at the moment, looks like the one that's jumping out at me the most is right here. But the Weather Service had also mentioned a second area of rotation, maybe this one right through here. And there's also a third one that I'm noticing around the Norfolk area. So those are kind of the areas that we're looking at right now. And again, all of them moving northeast at 70 miles per hour.
Yeah, this is going to be a very quick moving system. So let's do once again where we take that wide view of the entire line of storms and time out its arrival out across the region, because I think a lot of people at home are wondering, when is this going to get to my neighborhood? When is this going to hit me? When is this going to be a concern for me? So as we take a look at this area of storms here, it's really moving quite quickly. We've mentioned the speed of this several times, 75 to 80 miles per hour at times. This is an incredibly quick moving line of storms, and it's made some huge progress here just in the last 10-15 minutes. You can see how quickly it's tracking out to the east, and I expect we're going to see some of these severe thunderstorm warnings extended a little bit more to the east to include the metro very shortly here. All of these severe thunderstorm warnings issued ahead of this line of storms, that's due to the threat of incredibly strong winds. We're talking gusts as high as the 70s and 80s, and that brings in the concern for some damage here, the potential for tree damage, power line damage. I know we've been saying this throughout the day, but make sure, especially with that risk of power outages, that you have a way to stay on top of these warnings as they move into your area, even if the power goes out. So our app is a good way to do that. You can stream us live on Facebook right now. We have meteorologist David Keller and Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord streaming live right now. So this is another resource you can take advantage of as we continue to track these thunderstorms moving through the region. So let's take a look at the estimated time of arrival. Right now, 3:29. So we're expecting that arrival in Omaha within the next half hour or so. So that's going to be moving through the downtown metro area within the next half hour. This is going to be a quick moving line of storms around Fremont. Should be there right around 3:41, West Point 3:39. This is going to be moving into portions of western Iowa very shortly after the 4 o'clock hour starts, moving into Shenandoah by the time we hit about 4:24. This is a very quick moving line of thunderstorms, and because of the sheer speed of that line of storms, it brings in that concern for those very strong winds. And that's what's prompting that huge line of severe thunderstorm warnings out there. And of course, embedded within that concern for some rotation and that threat for more tornado warnings. So you want to stay on top of this because it's moving so fast. You're going to have very little warning once that tornado warning is issued. If you do have one issued for your area, it's going to be moving in very fast. So you want to be able to stay on top of what's going on out there tonight. Clay, do you have any more updates, any more issuings that we were looking at?
Once again, Emily, a new tornado warning in this cluster that we've kind of been looking at. So let's dive in. This one is going to be for Madison County as well as Stanton and Wayne County. So what we're basically looking at is these two storms right here, Stanton and around Howells. Both of those are the ones that are currently tornado warned at this time, and you can see it does extend up into a portion, the southeast or southwest corner of Wayne County right now. So, Emily, it's starting to look a little concerning, particularly on that southern storm. So let's take a closer look at this on the velocities. And again, we're seeing a couple of areas of tighter rotation than along the rest of the line. And so this one right here, coming in like that, and then this one up here where they just warned for this new tornado warning also. So those two areas of rotation that you see on your screen, those are the two spots we're most concerned with right now. We're watching the closest at the moment. And again, both of those moving to the northeast at roughly 70 miles per hour. So very fast hitting stuff. If you are actively under any type of warning, particularly a tornado warning, we want you in your safe place right now because it's going to be moving way too fast for you to try to see anything or hear anything before you take action. You need to go ahead and get there immediately.
Yeah, definitely good advice with how quickly these storms are tracking through. And as we take another look on radar, we can really see that we're picking up on that threat for some rotation here with this southern storm. This one in particular was kind of breaking away from that main line of thunderstorms just a little bit, kind of intensifying that rotation. And then as we move off to the north and the northwest near the Stanton area, also picking up on a little bit rotation here just south of Norfolk. So this is something that we're watching very closely out there with that big concern embedded within this line of thunderstorms for some rotation and that threat for tornado development. So our radar loop showing just how fast this is moving through. This is tracking through just about the last hour, and you can see with this storm in particular here, that southern storm, it's kind of moving away just a little bit from that main line of thunderstorms here as that rotation kind of intensifies. This is looking like a pretty nasty storm right here as it keeps on moving off to the north and east really quickly at about 70 miles per hour. Is that what you said, Clay?
That's correct.
Yeah, this is a very fast-moving thunderstorm here, and that's the big risk with this line of storms as it tracks through, is the speed of it is really giving you very little warning. Once those tornado warnings are issued, they're going to be moving through your area fast. So you want to stay on top of this line of storms. We're giving you that advanced warning right now of when that line of storms is moving toward you. You can see as we time that out here, moving incredibly quickly. So right now it's 3:33, and as we move up to the Wisner area within the next 10 minutes, it's already making its way toward you. So this is a quick moving thunderstorm here. Very fast moving tornado warning. This is going to be bringing in that concern again for a lot of these warnings to pop up out along this line of thunderstorms, and it has a history of doing that since it was way down to our southwest earlier this afternoon, bringing in these little bits of rotation within this strong line of storms. A lot of wind to talk about with this as well. Do we have any more wind or damage reports rolling in with this?
At this time, Emily, something that I glazed over kind of in between all of these reports coming in of the new tornado warnings, Columbus. We've got a roof off of a house in Columbus. Spotters reported seeing a small tornado drop down in the area, causing that damage. We'll have to, of course, get that confirmed. But we do have that. Wow, Emily, this is big. Lincoln Airport just gusted to 81 knots. That is going to be over 90 miles per hour for that location. And just a little while ago, Lincoln also sent in another wind gust report. Let's see if I can find it kind of in the mix here. It was around 76 miles per hour as well. But this new one, 81 knots. Let me do some quick math here. Live television, gotta love it. 81 knots is going to be close to 95, 96 miles per hour. That is what's actively going through Lincoln right now. So.
And this is why we have those warnings issued for ahead of this storm. It's because of that threat for destructive winds, along with that potential for some embedded tornadoes. So if you're at home, if you're clicking on these warnings that are coming to your phone, you're going to see that threat for destructive wind, and then that wording within it, tornado possible. That means our main concern is that destructive wind that is very widespread out across the region, but within that line of thunderstorms, also that potential to see some embedded thunderstorms, and that's making its way slowly out to the metro. Just another warning issued, sounds like, Clay?
Yeah, Emily, that's going to be the warning that we've kind of been anticipating. The destructive tag severe thunderstorm warning, which now includes the Omaha metro area, and that is going to be the one that you see right along the river here. So let's zoom in and show you what we're talking about here. You're gonna hear the sirens go off again for this, just so you know. If you're not hearing them already, they're gonna go off again. Here's what the information says on the warning. Tornado possible along this line of thunderstorms. There's no tornado reported yet. But there is a destructive thunderstorm wind threat, and that will include Harrison County, Fremont County, Mills County, and Pottawatomie County, all in western Iowa. Cass, Douglas, Johnson, Nemaha, as well as Odo, Pawnee, Richardson, Sarpy, and Washington counties. All of those in Nebraska. And so, again, we're going to hear the sirens go off any second here, once again, across Douglas County, probably Sarpy County, even Pottawatomie County will likely hear them go off, as basically the National Weather Service has extended the severe thunderstorm warning that they have going from Wahoo now all the way through Council Bluffs, closer to the Neola cutoff right now. Glenwood, Iowa will be included with that as well. Nebraska City, Plattsmouth. You're right on the edge of it, Shenandoah. You're not in it just yet. So just wanted to pass that along. And again, the National Weather Service just reiterating that they just saw 90-plus mile-per-hour winds be measured in the Lincoln metro area here within the last few minutes. Let's also talk about another report from emergency management in Columbus of reports of roofs off of houses possibly due to a tornado there. So we're continuing to see reports around Columbus, Nebraska coming in from damage related to either these winds or a possible tornado that went through there roughly about, say, 25 minutes ago or so.
And we have team coverage out there tonight, reporters live on the ground. I think we have the ability to take their picture right now. Where do we have our reporter out at this moment? Interstate 80. What are you seeing out there?
Hey guys, yeah, that's right. We are just southwest of Gretna. We're right outside of the Gretna Outlet Malls. We're at a rest stop in between Gretna and Lincoln. Right now, you can see the interstate behind me here. These winds are strong. They're pushing against my back and they are pushing me forward. They are strong. The Nebraska Department of Transportation, they're issuing warnings. They're telling drivers to try to pull off, get off the road if you can. Do not be traveling in these conditions unless you absolutely have to. Especially those big trucks, those big semi-tractor trailers, those have a high potential of being knocked over. We're at a rest stop right now. We can see some people that have pulled off. Don't forget that there are some shelters at some of these rest stops. So if you're feeling unsafe, if you're feeling like your car is being pushed a little bit, our photographer Roger Hamer and I, we could definitely feel the wind pushing our cars. So if you're on the roads, don't forget that there are shelters like these that you can stop and stay in and let the storm pass while you wait in there. But as of right now, yes, these winds are very strong. They're pushing me over. I had to put my hair up in a ponytail, but we're gonna be out here for a while. Like I said, we're in between Gretna and Lincoln right now. We'll toss it back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks so much, Marla. We are keeping a close eye on all of these storms as they track through. And of course, if you're concerned for our reporters on the ground, we're going to be staying in touch with them as well, letting them know if the situation is unsafe for their current location. You're probably hearing right now, if you're watching us around the Omaha metro area, the sirens going off. That is due to that threat for very strong, destructive wind gusts. This line of thunderstorms making its approach, and those severe thunderstorm warnings have been extended ahead of that line. Because of that threat for up to 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And in the past, we have seen some reports of gusts higher than that. And this is really bringing in that big concern as this line of storm approaches for tree damage, power line damage. This is going to bring in that threat for some power outages. So make sure you have a way to stay on top of these warnings as they track through. And we will be keeping you up to date on everything that's going on out there through the afternoon. We have another, Rusty's in the studio right now. Looks like he has an update.
All right. Thank you very much, Emily. We're going to do it back and forth here. You let me know if you see something. I'll let you know if I see something. This is starting to get what we were basically a little bit of afraid of here. Well, yeah, at camera 4 right now. Thank you very much. We just had a report of a 93-mile-per-hour wind gust in Lincoln with this at about 3:30. So that was about 10 minutes ago. Thankfully, the rotation within that storm has backed off. But as you can see here, Emily, you put a line on this, extend it off towards the east, through the metro, roughly at 75 miles per hour. That could put some wind gusts up to 90 miles per hour right smack dab in the middle of the metro here by about the 4 o'clock hour. So you can see some of the towns listed: Wahoo, Tecumseh Valley, Gretna, Millard, Nebraska City as well, looking at Omaha here. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that. That is why the sirens are going off. There is no report of a tornado right now. We are talking about this because of the threat of some very damaging winds. You remember in July, we got 90 to 95 miles per hour. Now we're talking pushing close to that. So it gives you an indication. We wanted everybody to find a safe place to be, and that is what we were looking at right now. I was going to toss it back to you, Emily, but the warnings are coming in fast and furious here.
Yeah, you take it away.
Brand new severe thunderstorm warning, 3:30 until 4 o'clock. We'll let this fill in on the map here. But it does look like it's part, oh, sorry, it continued the severe thunderstorm warning. I apologize. Or continued the tornado warning. I apologize. So that should be okay right now. Sorry, I was reading the wrong one. They're coming in fast and furious here. So go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of information as these storms move through, and part of the reason behind that is because of how quickly these storms are tracking through. We're getting a lot of damaging wind reports. Looks like they did just extend part of that severe thunderstorm warning a little bit more off to the north. So this is going to be a really widespread area of concern thanks to that threat for some strong gusts. So we're now looking at portions of northwestern Iowa a little bit more included in that severe thunderstorm warning due to those destructive winds running until 4:45. So really quick moving line of thunderstorms. This huge area here, the coverage of this is just about an hour. So this gives you an idea of how quickly this line of storms will be tracking through. Once it gets to your area, it's going to be moving through incredibly fast. And this little chunk of storms here has been rotating a little bit more than the rest. So we're going to be watching it very closely for that threat for some continued tornado warnings. And also the threat for some more strong winds. Now, we do have more crews out on the ground. We have a reporter out at 108th and what did you say, our producer in the booth? 108th and Fort, so we're going to send it out to her and see what's going on. Ashley, how are things looking out there?
Hey, Emily, yeah, that's exactly right. We're right at the intersection of 108th and Fort, and really in the past few minutes, we've felt that wind pick up. Those sirens we've heard you and Rusty talk about, we've heard those going off for, I would say, about the past 5 or so minutes. We've heard those in this area, but I kind of want to show you. So where we're at right now, there's kind of a line. You can see the lighter skies a little bit east, but as you look to the west, you can see just how dark these skies are becoming. And again, the wind really picking up in this area. We've heard the sirens here as well going off, but be careful if you do have to be out. We have seen several cars out here driving in. But the wind, we can really start to feel that pick back up in this area. We're going to continue to stay out here. We're going to continue to monitor the situations, and we will bring you those latest updates, Emily.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And stay safe out there. We're continuing to keep a close eye on everything that's going on out here. Rusty, okay, you're pulling up some cameras here, taking a look at what's going on out on the ground live. We're really having trouble.
Trying to get an NDOT camera to see what's rolling in from the west. We've got this one here looking to the southwest right now. You can see that wall of water getting really close to the area. Got another 90+ mile per hour wind gust that came in from the Lancaster County area just here recently too. So we're starting to sample some pretty good wind gusts out of this, Emily. So we were fearing maybe up to 80. It looks like we might be messing around with 90 mile per hour wind gusts coming out of this storm right now. Sorry to take it off the radar for you, but you can see this line right now. We want to do a little tour of the radar while we're here?
Oh, yeah.
So we got this warning here. The first warning, the warning that is of note that covers the largest area is this one that you see right here for potentially destructive winds. You can see the threat tag on the top of it. This is the Omaha to Plattsmouth to Nebraska City to Falls City one. This includes Cass, Douglas, Pottawatomie, and Sarpy County. Hail, not a huge threat with these, but 80 to, I would say, 90 mile per hour winds. And what we have to do is watch along this for the threat of any rotation whatsoever. This is what we're keeping a very close eye on right now, Emily. So you can see here, we go up and down this and look for little spots. Oh, and we just got it. Brand new tornado warning there. Here, I'll let you go ahead and talk about it, Emily. Here's the info.
All right, we're taking a look at this tornado warning here. This is just issued, and it does include a little bit of Elkhorn and Valley as well. So this is going to be one that includes Douglas and Saunders counties as it tracks really quickly off to the north and east. How quickly is this moving? Did we have a report on that, Rusty?
Looks like it's moving northeast at 60 miles per hour, Emily.
At 60 miles per hour. So when you have a chance, let's go ahead and just take you through how quickly this is going to be tracking through, kind of track that storm. But it's moving so quickly. This is why it's important to stay on top of this line of storms as it's moving through your area, because between the time that tornado warning is issued due to the rotation and the time that it's going to be making its way through your area, if you're included in that warning, it is going to be a very small window. Right now it's 3:45, and we're talking about this moving into Utan by the time we hit about 3:56. So this is 10 minutes, and it's up to Valley by the time we hit about 4 p.m. So this is a quick moving area of rotation here under this tornado warning. It's going to be moving through within the next 15 minutes for this entire area.
And you can see it right down here, Emily. It's this little pocket that we're looking at right in here. This is what we're This is what we're watching at the moment. This little guy right here, there's the wind surging out and the potential there for the winds to go back in like this. I use the analogy, putting a pencil between your hands and going back and forth with the pencil. That's how you get that rotation. You want the winds going in opposite directions right next to each other, and we're getting signs of that here. It's a dangerous situation because they're spinning up so fast. That's the problem. We're getting radar scans every 3 to 5 minutes. And these could spin up in between some of these as well, just because these are moving at nearly 75 miles per hour. So Elkhorn and Valley, you are in the path of this one. Let me extend this all the way up here to include Elkhorn and Valley. You'd be right on the east edge of this most likely, but as you can see, you were talking about Utan, Emily, about 3:56. Valley, we're at 4:01, and Elkhorn at 4:03.
Yeah, the minute these are issued, if they're for your area, get into your safe place because they're moving through so fast.
These are 15-minute tornado warnings. They're moving so fast. Usually they're on the order of 30 to maybe 45 minutes. This warning is out for 15 minutes. That's how much time you have in the Valley and Elkhorn area to get to your basement and get to your safe place, like you're saying. Okay, getting a couple reports here. Let's go back up a little bit further to the northwest here. Getting a couple reports. Those are starting to scoot out of our viewing area right now. So I'm going to stay in close here in the metro at the moment, because what we're doing here is watching this tornado warning that we have right here. You can see the flashing. That goes through 4:30. So this is about another 40 minutes or so. And then this severe thunderstorm warning goes through 4:45. That includes the Omaha Metro. So we're going to be with you right through the 5 o'clock news. So either going to have strong straight line winds near 90 miles per hour, or you could have rotating winds. Either way, it's not a great situation. If you feel unsafe at the moment, I would say you probably need to go to your basement. It's getting to be that time where I think that some of the wind gusts could pick up. There could be small little rotations, and I think this is an instance where you probably err on the side of caution if you can and get to a safe structure. Let's just ride this out for the next hour. We'll take you through it. We got you here, and we'll make sure you're nice and safe as this rolls through. We don't want you out trying to see the tornado. As much as we love your pictures, another 90-mile-per-hour wind report, Emily. So they're coming in fast and furious here with this one as it's moving through. So pretty incredible line of storms that we have right here. So what we're likely going to have to watch in the metro to see if there are any spin-ups down to the south and southwest with this one. Potentially something right here south of I-80, maybe another little one, excuse me, fighting off a cold here, west and western parts of Odo County as well.
Yeah, as you mentioned, with the speed of this, it's tracking through. Just get into your safe place.
Sorry, I'm a confirmed tornado now in western Douglas County. So let's go ahead and I'll zoom in here and you can talk about this one right now. I just got that latest information. Moving northeast at 75 miles per hour. Weather Service office is located right here. If anybody's listening, if we have any reporters out west of Elkhorn, make sure they're finding a safe place right now. If there's a confirmed tornado in this, it appears there is likely going to be an instance where this will be happening fast and tough to see. Because as you can see, Emily, look at this little area of rotation right in there. And highlight that for the, oh, sorry, highlight that for the folks here. You can see right in here,
Yeah.
with that little area of rotation. So let's go back to Emily here, and she can kind of point this out on the radar. I'll do a little steering and driving. Go ahead, Emily.
It's a really small area, and this is a really quick moving thunderstorm. Again, moving at about 70 miles per hour, a lot of these storms. So this is bringing in that threat for a fast moving tornado. So we're watching right here. There's the rotation. This is just down to the south and west of Utan, and this is moving so quickly. So up toward the Utan, the valley area, Elkhorn included in this warning as well. Make sure you're in your safe place. Now, if you're south of this area of rotation, you're in the clear already. This is moving so fast that it's kind of pushing through the area very quickly, and these warnings are going to be very short-lived. About 15-minute tornado warnings that we've been seeing issued along this line of thunderstorms because they're moving at about 75, even 80 miles per hour at times. Brings in that threat for not only tornadoes, a confirmed tornado in this situation, but also the threat for some very strong wind gusts. So I really can't stress enough, make sure you're in your safe place as this line of storms approaches, because just like we've seen with this tornado warning here, we go from that concern for only strong wind to just like that, picking up on some rotation and that threat for tornado development. So this is something we're keeping a very close eye on. So we've timed this out for you here. So around the Utan area, right now it's 3:51. So within the next 5 minutes, this area of rotation is pushing toward you, and they've shortened that warning to kind of reflect just how quickly this is moving through. They've cut off that southern chunk of it. Around the valley area, we're looking at an arrival time of about 4:01. So all of this is within the next about 10 minutes. And around Rellers Park, we're looking ahead to that storm. If it continues to rotate, that possibility of a tornado concern arriving to you at about 4:05. So with these thunderstorms, with the way that they're moving so quickly, and we're starting to see rotation develop so fast within these, you really want to get into your safe place ahead of the arrival of this entire line of thunderstorms. Not only that, we have that threat for incredibly strong wind gusts. We've had reports of gusts into the 80s and 90s as this line of storms moves through. So that in itself is enough of a concern for you to be seeking shelter ahead of the arrival of this storm, even if you're not underneath a tornado warning. This one here, though, does include portions of the metro, the valley area, Elkhorn within this tornado warning. It's something that we're keeping a very close eye on here as it continues to make its way through. And Rusty keeping a close eye on some reports out there as well. How are things looking?
It looks like we got a report of that tornado near the Meade area. So let me zoom in here right now and show you where that would be. There is Meade located right here. So this would be likely just to the southeast of Meade, moving northeast at 75 miles per hour. So as of right now, this likely misses the brunt of the Omaha Metro, but it is moving northeast, and we see Utan to Valley as of right now with this area of rotation. Looks like we just got a brand new radar scan here. Yeah, you can see, look at how it's starting to wrap up a little bit. This is very concerning. You get this little right in there. I would say the Utan area, if you're not in your basement right now, safe place, you need to be there now. Utan Valley and the west side of Elkhorn. Let's just play it safe on this one. You need to be in your safe place right now in all three of those locations, and just stay there until you don't hear any rain on the windows. It is going to be a very, very quick moving storm system. Emily's been stating this all day or all afternoon long. We're getting a little bit of rotation in some of these. There possibly could be another one down here south of Ashland we'll have to watch near the Murdoch area. So fast and furious here. Before you know it, this is going to be through. This thing's rocking and rolling right into the Omaha Metro right now. They just updated the tornado warning through 4:45 still for the Omaha, for the western part of Omaha, Douglas, Dodge, and Washington County as of right now, Emily. So you can see it extends now up to the northeast because of how fast they are moving. This one goes to the northeast and goes through 4:45. So we got about a 45-minute window here where things are going to get pretty wild. Again, if you feel like you are in danger, play it safe. Go to your basement. I just got word that the National Weather Service office in Valley is taking shelter because of this. They're right here where this little radar dome is.
Yeah, they're right in the path of it.
Yep, they need to get into their safe place right now, and it looks like they are doing it. Hastings, the National Weather Service office, is taking over at the moment. So we have Bennington now included in this new tornado warning as it lifts off towards the northeast, and it will continue to head in a track that I would say right now probably takes it closer to Arlington than to Bennington as of right now. So you got Rellers Park, Arlington, and Valley as this moves to the northeast. And I think we're going to be dealing with this through the Valley area up towards Arlington and Rellers Park with the fact that we have this tornado on the ground as of right now. Observed tornado as of right now. I'm trying to find an NDOT camera that will give me a view of it. I'm not getting anything right now. Excuse me. If anybody can point a city cam that direction and maybe find something due west. Okay, there, I can bring it up over here. Let me go to the Elkhorn. So ignore the title up there. This is not near Wahoo. I'll just delete that right now. This is the Elkhorn NDOT. Unfortunately, it's not looking at the clouds at the moment. So that's a bit of a bummer there. But let's take a look at what we have going on, because I think we need to stay focused in on what we have happening right now in western parts of Douglas County. Because this is a scenario where these warnings are happening fast and furious. So now it looks like the Omaha Metro, we're talking about 4 o'clock. Let me put a track on this for you, Emily, and you can see now we're starting to talk about this line, and anywhere along this line, as it moves northeast, here's what we're dealing with. I think any of these cities listed here in the next 45 minutes, bank on wind gusts and be prepared for a quick spin up of a tornado. That's what we're dealing with right here, Emily.
And I did want to let you know, our
ahead.
producer was telling me that we do have Mike McKnight on 156th and Blondo. So I don't know if we want to stay on this tornado warning or if we want to toss to his coverage. Let's go ahead and see what he's looking at.
Well, I'm looking out towards the west right now, actually northwest Omaha, towards 168th and Blondo. And you can see the dark skies to the west. And actually, I see a little bit of clearing, at least lighter skies off to the south and west. And you can see just a little bit of lightning, just little quick flashes of lightning. But it's very calm here right now. The sirens did go off for about 5 minutes or so, about 20 minutes ago, but no sirens right now. Can you see a little flash of lightning out there? But right now it's just very calm in this area.
Thanks so much, Mike. We're keeping a close eye on this. We have team coverage, and I'm hearing John Nicely. You have an update for us? Is that correct?
You had mentioned when that tornado warning came down, it was about 3:49 for the UTAN area. Rusty was talking about that. I called someone who lives on an acreage in UTAN, and in 4 minutes' time from that warning, it was right over his head. He said, literally on the phone to me, okay, we've got something going right now. And so everything was so dark, couldn't see outside, just pouring rain and hail as well. And then in a matter of minutes, he could see his horse barn again, and it was over him. But very nervous moments, and it just struck like that.
It's moving so fast. It's really important that if you are in these areas to seek shelter immediately as this thing moves over you. For sure.
Exactly what they did. I could hear him calling his kids, get down the basement with me right now.
Scary.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway with this. It's moving so fast that by the time these warnings are issued for potential tornadoes, or in this case for a confirmed tornado, you really have very little headway between that warning time and when it's going to get to your area. And you can see right here, Rusty's highlighting that rotation right around UTAN. This is very clear showing up on radar. This is moving off to the north and east and moving northeast fast. So this is bringing in that concern for a pretty long area, dealing with that concern for a potential tornado. And what are you seeing here as we're looking at our debris detection? Are you wanting to show us that, Rusty?
Yeah, I was trying to find it. There were signs earlier I was seeing of possible debris showing up with that, signifying that the tornado would be on the ground. But now it's so close to the radar, we're getting right in the center there where the radar beam, it's essentially right over top of the radar at the moment. And so it makes it really difficult to see. We're gonna have to likely wait one more scan until it gets northeast. And areas between Arlington and Bennington right now, I think, need to take cover if you haven't already. I know this looks like a garbled up mess on the radar right now, but what we are watching right now is this area here, basically right over the radar. Valley, up towards, there's a Elk City in here as well. Bennington, likely to stay on the west edge of Bennington. But if your address is Bennington, go ahead and play it safe and get in your safe place. Now we have Arlington, and I would say Kennard needs to be in their shelter right now because they are moving really quickly. And I tell you what, 20 minutes you have maybe. Let's play it on the safe side. Let's go 10 in Blair, just because of the rotation and the fast-moving nature of this. We are starting to get this line of storms. It's really picking up now, moving off to the northeast at the moment. If there are any reporters that have a visual, we'd love to see from them as well. But right now, I think we're going to start the 4 o'clock news.
Six News starts with First Alert Day coverage.
We have a live look for our city cam downtown. This 6 News First Alert team has been warning about this storm all week, and here it is.
It is, and it's a fast-moving storm bringing winds gusting up to hurricane strength. Now, we do have Omaha's only team of 5 meteorologists today. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Emily Roller. Hey, Em.
Hey, I've been working with Rusty and Clay all afternoon. We've been taking a close look at this line of thunderstorms that's been tracking through. It's moving so quickly, and we do have an active tornado warning out right now for portions of the metro. So, Rusty, let's zoom out on this so I can get a better view of exactly what's going on here. We're keeping a close eye on this area of storms here. Some very strong rotation has been reported and really showing up on radar here out around the Utah Valley area. It's right near the radar that we're tracking that concern, and it has been a reported tornado. So it's something that we're keeping a very close eye on as this moves steadily out to the north and east. This is moving fast. It's something we've been hitting hard all afternoon. Because of the speed of this line of thunderstorms, it's going to be making its way into your area so quickly. And with that threat for some very strong wind gusts, that's why we have such widespread severe thunderstorm warnings out across the region. That's going to be bringing in the concern for the potential for some tree damage, some power line damage, and that threat for some power outages. So you want to have a way to stream our newscast or to stay on top of those incoming warnings as this is moving through. So make sure you have some kind of app downloaded, or you're streaming us now on Facebook, or whatever works for you. Just have a way to get these warnings as they track through. And it looks like we do have some new issuances of tornado warnings out there. Rusty, what are we seeing here?
For the areas between Bennington and Elkhorn up towards Kennard right now. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning for Fremont, Mills, Cass, and Otoe County that rolls through 4:15. So this would be this one down here that includes the Nebraska City area. The speed on this one, folks, moving northeast at 100 miles per hour. So if you're in this warning area, let me highlight this here for you, because as it moves northeast, the warning goes for 15 minutes. It's going to cover that much ground. If you're in Glenwood, Malvern, Tabor, Thurman, Nebraska City, get to your safe place. Even if there isn't rotation, there could be 80 to 90 mile per hour winds with this storm moving northeast. So as of right now, that does not include the Omaha Metro, but you can see the areas highlighted right here that continues to move towards the east and to the northeast as of right now. And the Omaha Metro at the moment is under a severe thunderstorm warning that goes through 4:45. And you can see some of the indications with this. We are talking 90 mile per hour winds and even tornadoes possible because they spin up so fast. And that is the issue here. You can see the threat tag on the very top of this. They don't issue these very often. For 80 mile per hour winds or more, we're talking damaging wind similar, maybe just a little bit below what we had back in July with that storm that moved through. It's a quick hitter, but you need to be in your safe place now if you think you are in danger. Better to be on the safe side than not because of how fast these things are spinning up at the moment and moving off towards the northeast. So here is what we have happening as of right now. Excuse me, go ahead. All right, let's toss it back over to Emily, and I want to show you what she can take you through the radar here a little bit. I got to go update something here really quickly.
Yeah, we're watching this line of thunderstorms here, very strong. It's moving fast. The main concern with this is that threat for damaging wind gusts. We've been talking about gusts into the 80s and 90s, as well as what we're seeing right now, some isolated tornado spin-ups. But we're also seeing a few areas that are dealing with hail. We have a reporter on the ground right now. Marlo, you're picking up on some hail reports at this moment?
Hey guys, yeah, that's right. We're in the same spot that we were at earlier. We are just southwest of Gretna along I-80. It's kind of hard to see because we've got the car door here. We're hunkered down in the car. The interstate is just down that way. Just a couple of minutes ago, the wind was blowing so hard, the rain was coming down so fast, we couldn't see probably 10 feet in front of us. It was going so quickly. The cars, I did see some cars that had pulled over on the side of the interstate, but like we have been mentioning throughout the day, this is moving so fast. I had no idea how quickly this was going to be moving. We were sitting in our car in about 2 minutes. We could see everything. and it was all the windows were just a blur. And now we're back, and it's sunnier than it was just a couple of minutes ago, but this is very, very fast moving. If you are traveling a little bit closer towards Omaha, it is probably best that you pull over. I just talked to a man who had pulled over. He was traveling from Iowa, heading back to Lincoln. I'm sure he's glad that he stopped. He told us his wife was down in Lincoln and that she advised him to pull over, and he listened to her, and he's sure glad he did, because that came through so quickly. If you were driving, you wouldn't have any time. You wouldn't be able to see where you are going. So the wind is still very heavy. It's pushing me. It's pushing this door. But we're going to keep bringing you guys updates. But for now, we're going to send it back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Marlo. And we're also looking out to a few more crews on the ground. Mallory Schnell, our meteorologist, is out. What are you seeing out there right now, Mallory?
Hi, Emily. So we were originally situated in the Elkhorn area, right around 204th and Maple. But as soon as we heard those sirens the second time issuing that tornado warning, me and my crew, we thought it'd be safer for us to track eastward, get out of that tornado polygon. We are really starting to feel the winds here, though. So we are just off Maple. We are safe. We are off the road in a parking lot right around 132nd, between 132nd and 144th and Maple. And what I'm seeing is, well, the rain is coming down. We're also starting to feel those higher wind gusts as the line of storms continues to approach our area. It does look like the highest gusts might stay just off to our north. I was seeing a little bit of the lowering of the clouds, but thankfully no rotation where we are. And the car, I don't know if you can tell, is really starting to budge a bit. So we might want to move ahead of where this light pole is just to make sure that does not strike our vehicle. We're trying to maintain safety as much as we can, but while also giving you all a visual at home. Once again, we are not included in the tornado warning here. We're currently situated off Maple between 132nd and 144th, just by the golf course here. So as you can tell, the rain is coming down. No hail in our particular area just yet, just the very strong winds that we're starting to feel once again in our area. But we're going to send things back to you all in the studio, just trying to play it safe here. We are near a nearby structure if we do have to take shelter here shortly. But once again, meteorologist Mallory Schnell reporting near Maple and 144th.
Thanks so much, Mallory. And you can see just how much trouble our crews that are stationary on the ground are having. This is not something that you want to be out in. Stay home, stay hunkered down as this tracks through. Rusty, you have an update for us?
It was right about, let's see, 120, 132, 144, right about here. So you can see how we get these little bowing structures right here, perhaps little notches trying to form as these arc out here. So that could be a little push of some stronger wind. That could be another little push of some stronger wind. There could easily be little areas of rotation in some of these as well as these move on through. But because they're moving so fast, this is likely maybe 10, 20 blocks east already. So we're talking about this moving down into the Midtown and downtown area already as of right now, because of the fact that they are moving just so quickly off towards the east. So we can sample some of the wind gusts here as we take a little look. Some of these might be trying to hit 35, 40 miles per hour, which would be good news. If we could avoid the strongest of the winds in the Omaha Metro, I don't think that hurt anybody's feelings. But as of right now, some of the strongest gusts look like they're sending up towards the Blair area, and maybe still a little bit of a sign of rotation in this system, in this storm system. Let's see here. Right near Kennard, I would say. There's the possibility right in here. Kennard heading up the highway towards Blair as of right now. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning for, let's see, there's so many warnings here. It looks like the one for the Omaha Metro actually has been allowed to expire. Let me see here. There's been so many warnings issued at the same time. It's hard to keep them straight here. So the latest one goes through 4:45. We're getting little power flashes here at the station as well. Could have some wind gusts up to about 90 miles per hour with this one. Plus, the threat down here, just crossing the river, we're starting to get some power flashes as well. I don't want to neglect the tornado area. The tornado warning that we have down to the south as of right now. You can see in western parts of Iowa, this runs through 4:15 for a radar indicated tornado. Includes Malvern, Glenwood, and Tabor as well. And you can see there's two little areas perhaps that need to be monitored really, really closely. Understand, we're going to talk, hold on one second here. I got to highlight this here because there's potentially a tornado trying to spin up near the Murray area, and that could be heading northeast towards the south edge of Plattsmouth. Plus here west of Thurman, just crossing the Missouri River, there may be another one too that is moving northeast, about ready to cross I-29 here in the next 5 minutes. I understand we have Ashley Richardson out. Ashley, give us your location and what do you see right now?
Hi guys, the winds are so strong. We're live. The winds are so strong, they're moving us along, but you can see we're near 108 and 4 right now. And the rain is coming down so hard where we're at. We're moving with the wind. I think we lost you guys back at the station, but we'll call you back here momentarily.
Wait, what'd she say, 108th and Maple? Possibly? That would be the leading edge of this line of wind that you see right here. And that is moving east at roughly 80 miles per hour. So you can see some areas that are in there. Lake Cunningham, you're about in it right now. Carter Lake, 5 minutes, if that. It's probably zipping along a little quicker. But you can see little bursts in between this right now that are really, really trying to pick up. So we could be dealing with some incredibly strong winds. You can see there's a flag of about 80 miles per hour as of right now as that is moving off towards the east. I want to stress too, if you lose power, we are live on our app and on Facebook as well. If you need to head to your basement, you can't be near a TV, which I would recommend now for the rest of Omaha if you haven't done so already, Crescent and Council Bluffs. We are streaming live on Facebook and on our app as well. So we got a brand new tornado warning. You continue to come fast and furious here. This is down in parts of Richardson, Nemaha, and Pawnee County, in the very southern edge of our viewing area. No confirmed signs of a tornado with that one. So we'll report back if there are actual areas of rotation and possibly a tornado on the ground right now. Toss it over to Emily and do a little tour of the radar here.
Yeah, really strong wind with all of this moving through. That's going to be the widespread hazard for everyone. You could see just how much trouble Ashley was having out there. It is incredibly windy. Stay inside, stay away from this line of storms as it tracks through. And if you haven't already got into your safe place, sought shelter, this is the time to do it. We have a lot of wind, a lot of rain. This is going to reduce visibility almost completely at times as this tracks through, combining that wind and rain. So this is not the time to be heading out across the metro area. So if you haven't already gotten into your safe place, I would do so. We have a lot of these little tornado warnings popping up along this line of storms. And you can see this one here that runs until 4:45. This stretches through the Plattsmouth area. I know, Rusty, you were just talking about that. Murray area, as this moves off to the northeast, it's moving very, very fast. And that brings in concern really for you not to have enough warning once these are issued to get to your safe place. So just do that now as this line of storms tracks through. And as Rusty was mentioning, we have been seeing some power flashes here. So you have that potential for some power outages at home. Make sure you have a way to stream us and stay on top of those warnings, even if you lose power or can't be by your TV. Rusty's pointing out that area of rotation here. This is what we're seeing. It's just off to the north of the Murray area, northeast of the Murray area, south of Plattsmouth. So we're watching this very closely here. So far, radar indicated rotation and that threat for some incredibly strong winds. Another point he's pointing out near the Bartlett area. So this is something that we're going to have to keep a very close eye on as these storms track through. And Rusty, you have an update for us?
Yeah, the one it looks like south of Plattsmouth here that we were just pointing at as well. That one does have the report of a funnel cloud with it as well. So there are several little spin-ups, and we'll have to watch these to see if they can move north and move up into the metro. But let's focus in on the metro here one more time, because we're starting to get to this area, the leading edge of the wind right now. It looks like we're going to be talking about it right about, hang with me here.
And Rusty, we do have Brian Mastery out in the Dundee area ready to go live.
Go ahead.
That would be something to talk about as far as the wind is concerned. How are things looking for him right now? You can see just how heavy that rain is. We can pull up his picture once again. That was really good video, kind of illustrating what we're talking about here with that wind combining with the rain.
They wanted me to call.
All right, it looks like He's trying to get his camera shot situated there for us, but you can see all of that wind moving through, and he is indoors. That is a good place to be as this all tracks through. It's bringing in that big concern for a wind hazard, damaging winds. Could see some tree damage out there. Wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some issues with power as well. So make sure you have a way to stay on top of these warnings as they track through. Have something downloaded on your phone. That could be our app. You could stream us on Facebook as well. We are live right now on the website if you lose the ability to watch us on TV. So this is something that we're really focusing in on as that line of storms and that really strong wind start to push through the metro. Rusty, how are things looking out there now?
Tornado warning has been allowed to expire for Douglas and Saunders County, so that puts a little bit of the metro in the clear at the moment. We're talking northern Douglas now, the Bennington area. That you're likely in the clear south of the Douglas-Washington County line now. With the strongest part of the storm now rotating and heading up to the northeast, they got brand new tornado warning. This is not a confirmed tornado. We're talking about radar indicated with some rotation between Blair and Missouri Valley, essentially, along Highway 30. We're likely talking about this little spin up right here. One of these deals where they happen so fast. It doesn't look like much, but it's likely right in here between Blair and Missouri Valley, and it's going to go northeast. The Modale area up towards, I don't believe Calhoun. I think that's a township more than anything, but between Modale and Logan would be this one, about ready to cross I-29. I would say it stays north of Missouri Valley. So Highway 30 between Blair and Missouri Valley, if you live in a house there, a basement now, and then north of Missouri Valley along I-29, basement now. Get to your safe place as quick as you can. I want to let you know that there are some places that are in the clear. Just as fast as these moved in, they have moved out in several spots. So they are moving through. Fremont, you're done. Elkhorn, you're done. Valley, Gretna, Springfield, you're done for the day. It was a one and done deal with the leading edge of this, and it is zipping through here right now. Likely bring some strong wind and some heavy rain to the Omaha area towards Council Bluffs. Downtown Omaha and Council Bluffs now dealing with this. Plus this tornado warning. We'll flip over to the velocity mode here, see if there's any confirmed, possibly a little bit of debris maybe showing up right in between Plattsmouth and Tabor. Might be some false echoes right there. This is what we use for debris detection. But southeast of Plattsmouth, Silver City, Malvern, you need to be in your basement right now as well, because what will likely happen is we'll get a little spin up right here northwest of Tabor. There's that one that was just south of Plattsmouth. The next radar scan, it's east of Plattsmouth now, and heading up towards through the Glenwood area. So if you're not in your basement yet in Glenwood, do so now. Glenwood, Tabor, Malvern, Silver City, you need to be in your safe spot. I do think the threat's starting to wind down in the western part of the metro. Still have probably another 10, 15 minutes on the, on the east side of the metro here as this is moving through. So quite a day. We were worried about these quick spin-up tornadoes, and it looks like we are dealing with that on a large scale as of right now. Let's send it back over to Emily.
Yeah, and speaking of how quickly these are all moving through, this is great. I mean, it's happening fast, and it brings in that big severe threat. It's a huge concern as it's moving through. But once it's done, you don't have to worry about that strong wind threat from this line of storms or that continued threat for tornadoes once that line has passed through your area. And we're already starting to see some areas of clearing out there, as Rusty mentioned, and Mallory is starting to see some clearing where she is. Let's take a look at her picture and what she's dealing with right now. Mallory?
Hi, Emily. Once again, I am still parked in the same parking lot where you all took me about 10, 15 minutes ago. And when I tell you the difference that about 10 minutes makes, we are just off Maple, kind of parallel to Maple right here between 132nd and 144th. And for about 5 to 10 minutes there, the visibility was extremely low. We could hardly see in front of us. The rain was pouring. Our car was shaking. You could definitely feel those wind gusts. Thankfully, as I mentioned before, we were not included in the tornado warning. We did move east. We were originally in Elkhorn included in that tornado warning, but of course we were here for the leading edge of that severe thunderstorm warning. But when I tell you, as soon as that main line edged east and northeast, visibility just full once again. So things have really quieted down. Of course, we'll continue to have the wind gusts that we have to deal with on the backside of these storms. But just to show you, yes, these storms are moving through very, very quickly this evening. And it was evident here just in the span of 5 to 10 minutes. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks so much, Mallory. And a little earlier, we were seeing some pictures of heavy rain coming down from the Dundee area, and we have our reporter Brian Mastery out on the ground right now. How are things looking in Dundee?
We're not in a bad spot, but if we were to move, now might be a good time. I know, I'm wondering.
All right, you can see that we are picking up on some heavy rain falling. Got a lot of that in the street as well, but it looks like those heavy sheets of rain that we were dealing with earlier have started to wind down a little bit. So that is some good news there. You can see a car driving through. If you can, wait to travel until this line of storms has passed through your area. Travel is going to be almost impossible out along this line of storms when we're talking about a wind threat with gusts as high as the 70s to 80s. So that's really combining with the falling rain and bringing in a huge concern for reduced visibility as well as damaging wind gusts and really just making it almost impossible to travel as this pushes through. So we've timed out this line of thunderstorms here, and you can see making its way into the Silver City area here within just the next couple of minutes here. This is going to be tracking out to the east incredibly fast. Oakland an arrival time of about 4:34. So we're watching this really closely. It's tracking through the metro areas including Ralston, Papillion, now starting to be a little bit more clear, but we now have a tornado warning issued and includes parts of the metro. So Rusty, what's the latest on that? You're keeping an eye on chat.
Yeah, this one includes Council Bluffs in the Pottawatomie County area, right up I-80 through Underwood. You take a look at the latest with this, goes through 5 o'clock. Probably going to move through quicker than that, folks. These have been hauling through the area. Council Bluffs, Minden, Neola, Underwood right now. If we take a look, let's see what we have here. Likely this little area of rotation. What they're doing is likely erring on the side of caution. There could be a little spin up here north of Council Bluffs, the way it looks. Right on the north edge. If we look at no significant debris signature, which is good news. This is a radar indicated tornado, so nothing confirmed on the ground. And it will continue to move to the northeast. We're getting some reports, if you're listening to the newsroom, some branches down in north of Boys Town, some thunderstorm wind damage from that as well. Some 6-inch diameter trees coming down, so that's a sign of some pretty good winds out of this one. But Council Bluffs, McClelland, up towards Neola, basement time, get where you need to be right now, get to a safe place. You got 20 minutes, just ride it out. If you don't have a way to watch TV in the basement, we're all live on Facebook, we're live on our app. You can stream us on our website, multiple ways to get information here, as this is the area we are ultimately concerned about, right here on the north edge of Council Bluffs, and it is moving to the northeast, basically right up I-80. So there could be a lot of eyes on this one, a lot of viewers that are keeping a close eye on this one right along the interstate. I don't know where to tell you to go if you're on the interstate, pull over. And if you know anybody that might be on that stretch of road, that is not a place you likely want to be right now due to the areas of rotation. Plus, some very strong wind, possibly area of rotation up here near Modale, east of Mondamon towards Magnolia. This likely ushering out some very, very strong wind. We can sample some of the wind up here west of Missouri Valley. And there you go, 60+ mile-per-hour wind gusts. Some of these could easily be hitting 70, and the radar's just not doing a good job of sampling because they're moving so darn fast. Had an 83 mile-per-hour wind gust reported near Missouri Valley. So radar, they're moving so fast the radar can't figure it out. That's just the way it goes. When they're moving this quickly, they can produce wind at an incredible rate. And we're getting some 80 to 90 mile-per-hour wind gusts out of these. And now we have this area of rotation here on the west edge of west edge of Pottawatomie County. So Underwood now up towards the 880 and 80 split. And you can see up here towards Neola as well. You all need to be in your basement, as this is likely going to ride right up I-80 and head towards that 880 and 80 split as of right now. So if you're watching, here's the line of storms that continues to move to the east. We have a tornado warning in Mills County, tornado warning western Pottawatomie County, and a tornado warning in western Harrison County, basically for the next 20 minutes or so. These will continue to march east. The line now, pretty much done in the Omaha Metro. So we're talking Council Bluffs east into Iowa. We're going to stick with you here as we continue to get these tornado reports. Let's send it over to Emily here. Take a little breather.
Yeah, keeping an eye on these as they move really quickly. So starting to see some clearing now if you're out to the west of the river. But right now ahead of that, still dealing with a concern for some incredibly strong winds. And we still are checking in with some of our crews out on the ground. We have Emily Richardson out live. So let's take a look at what she's seen. All right, she's getting her camera all set here, so we're just waiting on her live picture here. But in the meantime, talking about these strong winds combined with a lot of rain as they track through. Within that, we've seen a few spin-ups where we do have concern for possible tornado development. We have several tornado warnings out for the area right now, out along that line of thunderstorms moving so fast. So if you are experiencing rain and wind right now, thanks to this line of storms, or if it's just out to your west, get into your safe place ahead of its arrival. We're going to be talking about incredibly strong winds once it arrives and that potential for, again, some of these tornado warnings to pop up. And they're issuing them so fast and they're for such a short window of time because of how quickly these storms are moving that it really brings into that concern. Will you have enough time to get to your safe place before that warned area is to you? So you really want to make sure that you're in your safe place ahead of its arrival, just because they're moving at about 70, 80 miles per hour at times. Very, very strong winds in a very quick moving area of storms. Now we have the severe thunderstorm warning that stretches through portions of western Iowa, includes the Atlantic area. We're talking about that until 5:30 p.m. Again, it has that destructive wind tag. This is bringing in the concern for gusts of over 80 miles per hour at times. Tree damage possible, power line damage, possible power outages. We have seen some lights flickering here at the studio. This is something that we're keeping a very close eye on. But the good news is, because it's moving so fast, it's moving out fast. So it's going to be a very brief window of high concern for severe weather, and then it's going to be moving out. So once it gets to you, it's going to be a very quick moving system. And revisiting this tornado warning here, including the Glenwood area, Malvern, this runs until 4:45. So for another 20 minutes, give or take here. So really watching these very closely as they continue to make their way out to the east. I believe Brian Mastery, we have him live out in the Dundee area, starting to see some clearing there, hopefully. Let's take his picture.
Hey, Emily, not only is it clearing, but wow, the temperature has dropped dramatically. It was even warm during the hard rain that poured through here, but now the wind is really crisp and chilly. And I don't know if you can hear it, but we notice this, the birds are now chirping. It's as if they knew the storm had sort of passed. This area for about 15 minutes was getting just hammered by rain. And I'd show you some of the pebbles of pea-sized hail that fell here, but it had since melted. There just wasn't enough of it to really sustain and to show it to you. A number of businesses have closed early here. We're by the Dundee Candle Company, and they have a sign on the door that says because of the weather, they closed earlier. There was just a handful of places here that stayed open, and the ones they came outside because they didn't have customers and they were just checking out the situation. So really here, strong winds, a lot of rain, lightning, but really not anything to note for damage, which is what we hope it has to say for the rest of this storm. Reporting live in Dundee, Brian Mastery, 6 News.
Yeah, definitely great news out of the Dundee area. There hasn't been widespread reports of any damage. The hail threat today wasn't a huge concern for us, so really not surprising that we haven't had too many hail reports out there. It's really been the wind, and it's been the tornado threat as well, and that's really what we've seen pan out through the day. Incredibly strong winds, quick moving line of storms, and within that line of storms, some embedded tornado warnings, which we're still tracking out on radar now. And Rusty, I heard you talking a little bit earlier with John. We have some reports of power out.
Yeah, about 18,000 customers. You say in the metro area, John? Yeah, OPPD, 18,000 customers without power as of right now. So that is something we are watching and likely to see that number grow. I would not be surprised. I'm just making sure I can keep up to date with all the warnings here. Likely going to see this tornado warning expire north of Missouri Valley as the area of rotation now really starting to go to the northeast. I would not be surprised if they issue another one, though, west of Woodbine. Near the Magnolia area. It'd be this little spot right here we're watching. That could be a little notch of rotation. I'll take you a little tour down to the south. It's possible we could have another little spin up right here near McClelland. This is staying just to the northwest of I-80 and just to the northwest of Highway 6, the way it appears. But it is tracking off to the northeast, and it would impact the areas of Neola up towards the Tri-Center School District as well. as that continues to track in a northeasterly direction with this warning, probably for the next 10 minutes or so. And I would say that the threat is over in the Glenwood area, the Plattsmouth area. You're really starting to see things calm down. In the metro, you're safe now. All is good with the thunderstorm threat. Here's the deal, and I'm going to let Emily talk about this here. Look at the wind threat that's going to roll through behind this round of thunderstorms. If we can send it over to Emily right now.
Yeah, once that line of storms is done, we're done with that severe weather threat in terms of thunderstorms. But we are not done with the wind. That is an entirely separate issue for us. So that is something that's going to be ongoing as we move through the night tonight. We're picking up on that potential outside of our thunderstorm gusts right now for gusts into the 50s and 60s. And as we move forward, we're going to keep that threat for strong winds with us. As we jump ahead to about 5:30, take a look at this. Shenandoah picking up on the potential for gusts of 95 miles per hour. That's a possibility. We could see gusts approaching the 90s. More likely, we see a lot of gusts into the 60s and 70s, possibly 80s as we move forward. But this is behind that thunderstorm threat. The thunderstorms are out of here by 7 p.m. Everyone's dry, but we're looking at gusts coming in from the southwest and eventually seeing those shift in from the west a little bit more out to the west as the winds start to change. But still, gusts into the 60s, 70s, 80s easily up through about 8 p.m. After 8, we'll start to see a little bit of improvement, but it's still going to be windy. By about 9, 10 p.m., we're still taking a look at gusts into the 40s and 50s. So we have that destructive wind threat outside of that potential for thunderstorms all the way through our late night hours. So this is a concern for us moving forward through the night. And we just had another warning issued. Rusty, what's the latest on that?
I tell you what, so that's the threat that we're still going to have behind this line of storms, but we're not done with this line of storms just yet. Don't want to forget about the folks in Iowa. I tell you what, I expected this to be through the metro maybe by 5 o'clock. It's beating it by about a half hour here, the way it looks. It is going fast. So here's what we have right now. All these brand new tornado warnings that just came out. It is a bit of a mess. Let me try to organize it for you here very quickly. We have this new one that goes through 5 o'clock. Well, let me put this up towards the left. New one goes through 5 o'clock. Includes parts of Mills, Pottawatomie, and Montgomery County. Carson, Emerson, Oakland, and Trainer. If your address includes that, this is where I always say, know where you live on a map. This will help you out immensely. We have all these cities, Macedonia, Oakland, Griswold, Trainer, Carson, Emerson. You're under a tornado warning until 5 o'clock. We can take a look at the areas of rotation that are of concern with this one. Likely down here south of Macedonia with this one. South of Henderson, this will be lifting north and northeast. Very little spin up. So even if you don't see anything, these could produce a tornado very, very quickly. Plus, there is a new warning for parts of Harrison County, Monona County, and Shelby County, just the far northwestern corner of Shelby County. So we're talking Dunlap, Magnolia, Ute, and Woodbine dealing with this. So radar indicated tornadoes on both of them. Have not seen any confirmation with these yet. So these are radar indicated tornadoes both. So we hope they just spin up, don't produce anything, and then we go about our way. But Woodbine up towards on Highway 30 towards Dunlap, all included in this one as well, as these are moving fast to the northeast. I imagine by 5 o'clock, it's going to be a Denison and Harlan issue. And thankfully, the ones down to the south have started to relax just a little bit. So the previous tornado warning for Harrison and Washington County that did include Blair and Missouri Valley, that has allowed to expire. But we are sampling some very, very strong winds right in here in Harrison County, Emily. As we look right here, look at some of these wind gusts up to 60. And there's been some 80-mile-per-hour reports in some of these as well as they are moving off towards the northeast. So the threat for the Omaha Metro, done. Threat for the Nebraska side, pretty much done. We're talking about Iowa here probably for the next half hour. Then it becomes a Des Moines problem. And they move east very, very quickly. Emily?
Yeah, we're keeping a close eye on this as they move so quickly out to the east. Still, again, we have that wind threat through the rest of the night. The wind isn't going away, but the wind with this line of thunderstorms will be tracking out to the east, and that tornado threat will be diminishing as this line of storms moves away from us. But up until that point, up until we see this line of storms clear western Iowa, that's still going to be a huge concern for us. Very strong winds with this line of storms and that threat for potential tornadoes. Now, Behind this, we're starting to see quite a bit of clearing, and we have meteorologist Mallory Schnell out in the west side of Omaha taking a look at current conditions right now. How's it looking out there? Oh, you can see some tree damage. That's what that looks like we're looking at?
Do you have me live? Is my microphone up?
Yes.
Okay, hi. Yes, sorry. I was just making sure our live shot was going through. Yes, so I don't know if you can tell, but this is just some of the damage that we're seeing around the Elkhorn area. So we tracked back toward 204th, and we are seeing some tree damage. You can kind of see where the tree was snapped and the debris is on the road, and this is impacting anybody that's trying to head southbound on 204th. And so far, we've just been out for the last 10 or 15 minutes trying to find some of this storm damage, and this is kind of what we're seeing. Some tree limbs down. We've also seen some signs down. I did see a runaway trampoline in somebody's backyard, so a couple of those were not anchored down, and I did see some fence damage as well. So once again, we are out here at 204th, right around the Elkhorn area. So we're gonna, I think, head southward and see how things are looking in Sarpy County here soon. But once again, this is some of the damage that we are seeing across the Omaha Metro now that the leading edge of the storms is through the area, and we're still dealing with some of those very gusty winds. I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Mallory. And that's really no surprise to see damage like that. We were expecting to see tree damage. We warned you about that for the last couple of days, that potential for these strong damaging gusts as this all moves through. And we have another reporter live on the ground near Memorial Park. We're picking up on some reports of damage or flooding in that area, I believe. Flooding. You can see some street flooding here.
Yeah, I can hear you. I got you. Hey, we're here at J.E. George Boulevard and Underwood, so we are northwest of Memorial Park. I'll step out of the way, and this is the warning that you get. This is a low-lying spot, and we were first turned on to this when we were heading west into Omaha, out of Omaha, and a police car was here, and he stopped, and he had the good sense to turn around and go a different direction. You see that SUV up there is doing the same, but I would say 2 of every 3 cars that we're seeing are deciding to go through the middle of that, and they're making it. But what the danger is that you don't know if the road is washed out underneath. I mean, look at this. It's an entire wheel well. A neighbor said nearby from Omaha Car Care, he said it's not a smart thing to do, but it's probably good job security for him, knowing that some of these cars may have trouble down the road. So keep your eye if you're out and about here through Omaha and the Metro, that in those low-lying spots, and this is one of the usual spots, same way with Saddle Creek, when you see something like this, just go around it. Be much safer for you. You just don't know what's under that water. Reporting live from northwest of Memorial Park, Brian Mastry, 6 News.
Yeah, and that's excellent advice. Just find a different route. The rain is done, so give it some time. Let things settle down. If you're finding some spots of flooding, just go in a different direction. Don't make trouble for yourself where there really is no need to pick up on that. We have still some areas of rain, some strong thunderstorm potential moving through portions of western Iowa. We have tornado warnings in place here. This one in particular, including Harrison and Shelby counties, including the cities of Earling, Harlan, Irwin, and Shelby as this tracks through. It's moving off to the north and east, I assume, very quickly. Rusty, you have the latest on this one?
As you can see there on the very bottom of that text box, an observed tornado. So this would be a tornado that somebody witnessed, and it's likely just crossing I-80. This is from the previous warning that was in Pottawatomie County. This is heading up towards the Harlan area. So Harlan, Portsmouth, Persia, and Shelby as well. You all need to be in your basement. This little area right here is what I'm worried about. This goes northeast, and you can see some of the times on this. About 10 minutes to Harlan. Give yourself 5. These are zipping along, folks. Don't waste time with these because of how fast they're moving. We had a 74-mile-per-hour wind gust at Epley, an 80-mile-per-hour wind gust in Council Bluffs, an 81-mile-per-hour wind gust in Bellevue at Offutt Air Force Base. So these things mean business. Even if they're not rotating, they are trying to produce tornadoes at a pretty decent clip. So they continue to move to the northeast, and that's the one of greatest concern right now. That does include the Harlan, Iowa area. We can see if we can flip over. Oh, there it is. That is a tornado on the ground, folks. That is what that is right there at the moment, right north of the 880 split. near the Yorkshire area. That is a debris signature right there. There's the 880 I-80 split just north of Neola. That is moving to the northeast. So let me track that for you here. This is on the ground, moving northeast, roughly. I would put Portsmouth here in less than 10 minutes. I'd go 5. Persia, Portsmouth, Harlan, Panama, and Erling. That is a tornado debris signature on the ground just in the far southeastern corner of Harrison County, and now sneaking into western parts of Shelby County with this one. So occasionally we've had some reported tornadoes. This one is showing up on radar. So we have that. Don't go try to see this one either, folks. It's very likely this could be rain wrapped. And you're gonna go out there, try to get the cool picture. We love those as much as we do. We want you to be safe. West of Shelby, just north of I-80. And now it's moving out. As quick as the radar updates, this thing zips to the north. So let's see if we can get a new scan here. You can see that little debris ball, Persia, up to Portsmouth right now. You need to be in your basement, in your shelter, as of 5 minutes ago. Don't waste time. Get where you need to be. This is why you plan ahead for these fast-moving storms that are booking it at about 75 to 80 miles per hour as of right now. So this is what we're watching for. Let's check the latest look at the wind gusts as of right now. They're moving off towards the northeast. It's likely this right in here, Emily. You can see this little area of rotation at the moment that's moving off towards the northeast. So, sorry, excuse me. Let's go ahead. We'll continue to keep an eye on this right now. We'll get the latest scan on this, see when it comes in. But I can see this running right up Highway 191 as of right now. We're going through the Persia, Portsmouth area. I got a report of a residential building collapse, 70th and Leavenworth. If anybody's... Okay, gotcha. So this is what we're dealing with here. Had 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this storm, and now we have looks like a radar-confirmed tornado. This is what we call a tornado debris signature near the Persia area. So this is the far southeastern corner of Harrison right here. That's what you're looking at. And then this is going up into Shelby County at the moment. So you're dealing with this spot right in here.
And Rusty, you've been making this point all day, all afternoon, really. These are moving so quickly, and you need to be in your shelter now. So as this line of storms makes its approach to you, if it hasn't gotten to you just yet, or if you are in the middle of it, get to your shelter. As soon as they're issuing these tornado warnings, they're moving so quickly that it really gives you very little time to prepare once the warning is issued. So prepare ahead of time. Get to your safe place. This line of storms is bringing in, even without a tornado threat, very strong damaging winds. So you want to be in your safe place regardless of a tornado warning as this is tracking through. This is a very strong storm, and it brings in that potential, like we're seeing right here, for it to produce tornadoes. And we're seeing a tornado on the ground, that debris detection picking it up. We have very strong winds, and it brings in that concern for tornado threats as this line of thunderstorms moves incredibly fast out to the east, northeast. So this is moving at about 75 miles per hour for many areas, this entire line of thunderstorms, bringing with it that threat for strong winds. And as we're seeing, quite a few areas where we're picking up on that threat for tornadoes. So, Rusty, we're keeping a close eye on this one right here. You can see north of the Yorkshire area, that's the debris detection picking up on that tornado on the ground.
Yeah, right there, moving to the northeast. There's another one. So, like I said, Portsmouth, Persia, and Tennant. Be in your basement. I would say Persia, Portsmouth especially, because this could take a little bit more of a northerly turn with this one. I'm going to go down to the southeast a little bit too, because there's another little pocket of rotation here that keeps showing up and tries to do something a little funky once in a while. And you can see right in here, I'm concerned about the area of rotation you see possibly right here. Not your classic signatures, but they're spinning up on the north edge of this line here. And they're moving to the northeast very, very swiftly. And regardless, we've had some reports of 80 to 85 mile per hour wind gusts in some of these, and there we are. There could be just a wide swath of a debris signature right in there, east of Oakland, moving to the northeast, excuse me, as well. So we have that. We have this one back here near Persia, and the radar just keeps updating as these storms move through it. honestly, by 5 o'clock, we are going to have most of these out of our viewing area. So hunker down for another 15 minutes if you're in western Iowa, if you're ahead of this line of storms, and you should be good to go for the rest of the night. We just got to get this line through here and hopefully not get too much damage along the way. I'm going to send this back to you, Emily. I'm starting to lose my voice. It's been a week.
Yeah, the speed of this thing has been so fast. Earlier this afternoon, I was out here with Clay, and we were trying to track this on our short-term forecast outlook, and it was just jumping so quickly because of how fast this has been all tracking through. It's moving so quickly that we're going to be clearing this out of the area, as Rusty mentioned. By the time we're hitting that 5 p.m. hour, most of the coverage area should be in the clear of this line of storms in particular. But until that happens, through western Iowa, we have that strong wind threat. We have that tornado threat. That's what we're seeing out there right now. Our main concern is for that potential for these spin-ups, and then a widespread concern out along that line of thunderstorms for that threat for some incredibly strong winds. And we've already seen some of that damage left behind out across the metro area. We were looking at that picture from Mallory a little bit earlier of that tree damage. It was a very large tree picking up on some damage. So as this line of storms continues to make its way out, this is going to bring in that concern through western Iowa for those strong gusts, for that tornado threat. So you really do want to stay on top of things. If the storm hasn't made its way to you yet, get into your safe place, have a way to stay on top of what we're seeing out there right now. Rusty, I'm going to send things over to you. I've lost my IFB, I believe, so I want to make sure I stay on top of
I need to get some new
what's
batteries
happening
for
there.
that. All right, so I want to show you, look at the cooler air that's rushing in behind these. Down to 61 in Omaha, 56 in Wahoo, down to 51 in Columbus at the moment. Still holding on to the 70s out ahead of this as of right now. I wanted to see where we ended up for today. Highs today, see if we did break the record high. Officially the warmest we've ever been in December. 74 degrees was the warmest we've ever been in December, and that is the energy that is feeding these storms, folks. And thankfully, it's a quick moving line. So here's what we're looking at. Not much left of these, but if you're watching in Shelby County, Harlan, Iowa, I don't want to forget about you. That's a major population center there in the center of Shelby County. Let's take one more look. We're getting some new radar data in here. It's Harlan, Iowa, and you can see what we're likely dealing with is right back in here. I'm hoping this probably stays to the west of Harlan, but just to be safe, probably good to be in your safe place right now. That is the little tornado debris signature right here. So let's see if I can loop this back over the last 30 minutes or so. It might go too far. Yeah, I was worried. These are moving too fast. It's going to get a little glitchy here. Let's play this here. So you can see this little dot right in there. Yeah, that's moving too quickly. So that's the problem with these. They're moving so fast, it's hard to do much of a loop and not have some issues. So I would say that tornado debris signature is right between Portsmouth, Persia, and Tennant right now, moving off towards the northeast. So I mentioned it 10 minutes ago. You should have been in your basement probably 10 minutes before that, based on the warning that moved through. So that's the latest on the tornado warning that we have as of right now. All the severe thunderstorm warnings have cleared the metro. Maybe not done with the rain, but all the tornado warnings have cleared the metro as well. Possibly one here in the Atlantic area. That is handled by the National Weather Service office in Des Moines. But as you can see, that may be this little area of rotation that you see right in here, if we're going to see anything here. This little bend, little hook, right in there between Hancock and Atlantic, moving east and northeast. So this might end up staying west of Atlantic, but there's a lot of spin-ups along this. And I tell you what, sometimes the tornado warnings are just good to have for 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts. They get people in their basement where they need to be. Atlantic, you need to be there right now, much like we dealt with over the last hour in the Omaha area. But it feels like we've been on the air for 4 hours. This has been 45 minutes to an hour. They have been zipping along. They continue to move to the east, so they're just about out of our viewing area. But Harlan right now, they will continue to move in an easterly direction. I think this is a case where it's likely going to miss you just to the west with the tornado, if there is still one right in there, but you may get some 80 to 90 mile per hour winds as well with this one. And speaking of that, I think we should touch on this again. Emily did a little earlier. Let's focus on the winds that are still going to be coming behind this line of storms. We're not done with the wind threat just yet, Emily.
No, the wind is something that's going to be staying with us through the night. So this is a concern even once that line of thunderstorms has passed. So we saw some damage on the trees from that initial line of storms, but we are going to be picking up on that same wind potential, the same strong, severe winds that we had with that line of storms and still have out over portions of western Iowa as we move through the night tonight, all on its own. So we don't have that line of storms once we move into the evening, but we still have the wind. So there's still that threat for some tree damage, power outages. This is still going to be severe wind. By the time we hit about 5:30, we're looking at the potential for gusts for areas, including Shenandoah, of 95 miles per hour. I think at this point, widespread gusts into the 40s and 50s. But as we move to about 7 p.m., that wind threshold kind of ups for everyone. We have widespread gusts into the 50s, 60s, and 70s, possibly as high as the 80s into portions of western Iowa. This is something we're going to be watching closely through the night. We start to see some improvement after 8 p.m., but it's still going to be incredibly windy. So that main time frame of concern for those strongest, most damaging gusts all the way up into the 70s to near 80s, that's going to be up through about 8 p.m. After 8, we're still looking at gusts into the 50s and 60s. It's not going to be quite as strong as what we'll see earlier in the evening, but it's still going to be incredibly strong winds. This still brings us the concern for some tree damage, some power outages. It's not going to be a good time to be out on the roads throughout the night. So really, if you can stay home, that's going to be your best bet. And then by 10, the winds are a little bit more manageable. We're talking about gusts into the 40s and 50s, but it takes some time before we really start to see some improvement here when we're talking about these strong winds, and it still brings in that concern for power outages. So that's something you really want to keep in mind through the evening hours. We have that threat for more tree damage even once this line of thunderstorms has passed through. I really want to make sure you understand that because our severe wind threat is not done. Even though that line of storms has already tracked through the metro, we're pretty much done with that thunderstorm threat out across the Nebraska side of things. We're still focusing on Iowa for that severe thunderstorm threat. Everyone still has severe wind threats all the way through the nighttime hours. So after 8, we'll start to see some improvement, and certainly by 10 p.m. on, things are going to be starting to clear up. Big temperature drop coming behind this as well. We're down into the 50s already behind that line of thunderstorms. Rusty, you have some reports coming in?
Starting to get a few more reports. Starting to see a few more damage reports. Some damage on the north side of Council Bluffs. John, maybe reach out to some people you know around Beaver Lake. I'm seeing reports of some major house damage around the Beaver Lake area.
Yeah, will do.
It might be something to look into. 192nd and Center, possibly with some roof damage. These are reports that probably haven't quite trickled into our system just yet, but I'm starting to see them show up in some places. Let's take a look at what we have happening right now with this. The latest on these warnings. Again, let's see if we got an update on what's going on around the Harlan area as of right now. So we could have this little rotation on the back side of this system here. Yep, still this little debris signature. I'm worried about this. West of Harlan right now. Could be a false return. I'm not quite sure. But what we're looking at here, better play it safe than sorry. Right in here between Portsmouth and Harlan along Highway 44. Could be an issue for the Erling area. West of Harlan as well, up towards Erling. That will continue to be an issue as it moves to the northeast. This warning, I believe, goes until 5 o'clock as we look right now with this one. And then we continue to see this line of storms now zipping east of Atlantic up towards the Denison area as of right now, too. So we have this line of storms. Happy to say we're in the clear in the Omaha Metro. Emily stated this many times. And we will continue to see this line of storms move to the east and out of our area, likely by the 5 o'clock hour, if not maybe 5:15, as this continues to move in that easterly direction. We've already cooled off to, like you said, 55 degrees, and we will continue to cool even farther. So one more check here. Yeah, that could be just kind of a messy debris signature there west of Harlan, but it would be this guy right in here if we're going to see this. East of Harlan, continue to move to the east, right in the area where we have this little weak spot of rotation here. But now we're starting to see maybe a few less wind reports, Emily, and we're starting to get a few more damage reports in as well. So a little, things starting to calm down and people going outside. But as you mentioned earlier, Emily, I think the risk of some stronger winds are still there, even from non-thunderstorm wind gusts that could have a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more damage reports through the night thanks to those strong winds. And Mallory has been keeping an eye on how things are looking behind this line of storms. She has another report for us. How are things looking out there?
Hi, Emily. So we've been basically riding Highway 6 or 204th here, north and southbound. We're actually heading back in the northbound direction just because that's where I think we were seeing a good chunk of the damage from these storms, where that tornado warning storm moved through around Valley and portions of Elkhorn, and where we were actually parked not too far away where those very strong storms moved in this afternoon. But in terms of damage that I've seen across the area, a lot of it has been more so concentrated in Douglas County. I'm just talking about the far western part, though, of the metro where we have been situated, me and my crew. So we've been seeing some of those down trees. As I mentioned before, I saw a trampoline kind of upended in a parking lot. I've been seeing some signs down and things of that nature, maybe a little bit of roof damage. So we're going to continue to head northward, actually, towards the Elkhorn area once again, maybe closer to Bennington as well, to kind of see the aftermath of some of these storms. But traffic, as you can see, very limited right now. So people really did heed our warnings, get off the roads, which was good, and stayed in their safe place. And now that this storm has passed, we're just going to continue to survey and see what damage we can see out here on the west side of the metro. I'll send things back to you in studio.
Yeah, and I want to say it was a great call on the part of all the school districts that canceled school, did an at-home learning day or an early release, really prevented a lot of that traffic from being out on the roads during that peak time that we were tracking these storms moving through. Now they're pushing through portions of western Iowa. We continue to track these, bringing in that strong wind threat and the threat for tornadoes. We're going to take a break and be back at 5.
Honoring Heartland heroes.
Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands is proud to support our community.
6 on your side. This month, we're honoring the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Midlands.
Corwin Toyota of Bellevue is a proud sponsor of Heartland Heroes.
This winter season, drive ready with a new truck or SUV from Woodhouse. Easily tackle the snow-covered streets and holiday road trips with our selection of the top truck and SUV brands. Shop it all at woodhouse.com today.
'Tis the season for some yum yums, yum 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 yum.
A holiday family feast for your tum-tums.
Tum 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 tum. And here's a deal to save you money. It's a $0 delivery fee. Go to IHOP.com if you're hungry.
honoring Heartland heroes.
Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands is proud to support our community.
6 on your side. This month, we're honoring the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Midlands.
Corwin Toyota of Bellevue is a proud sponsor of Heartland Heroes.
Tis the season for some yum yums, yum 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 yum.
A holiday family feast for your tum-tums.
Tum 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 tum. And here's a deal to save you money. It's a $0 delivery fee. Go to IHOP.com if you're hungry.
The forecast center here at the studio with us.
And we have meteorologist Mallory Schnell in the 6 Alert Storm Tracker, along with our team of reporters out on the ground right now, including Brian Mastry. Let's get right to Emily for the latest. Emily.
Yeah, we've been keeping a close eye on this line of thunderstorms as it's been tracking through. It made its way through the metro already, and now main area of concern, that is through western Iowa. We still have some areas that are dealing with those tornado watches. They have dropped everything out to the west of the metro, so no longer under a tornado warning. But as we move into portions of western Iowa, that warning runs through 8 p.m. and will likely be canceled once this line of thunderstorms has cleared the area, and it is moving quick. It's been moving as fast as 75 to near 80 miles per hour at times. We've been keeping a close eye on several tornado warnings that have been popping up as this storm has made its way out to the east. We've seen several spin-ups out along this line of strong thunderstorms here. We still have several warnings in place. Most of this radar indicated rotation, but we have been watching a storm moving through portions of Harrison and Shelby counties into western Iowa, where we have picked up on a confirmed tornado. So that is something that we're watching very closely. And here's that storm here. This runs until 5:30 p.m. That warning, radar indicated rotation, but we did have a confirmed tornado a little bit earlier on. Very fast moving thunderstorms here. These warnings have been limited at times to about 15 minutes because of the speed of these storms. So still a huge concern along that line there as this continues to push out to the east with these fast moving thunderstorms and several tornado warnings that are still in place. This one here, this is issued for counties including Montgomery and Page, for the cities of Grant, Stanton. We're going to be seeing that potential for some rotation here, radar indicated, as this moves off to the north and east very fast, likely right around 70, 75 miles per hour. That's really been the thing that we've been watching through the day, is the speed of these storms bringing in that tornado threat. So make sure you are in your safe place if you're anywhere along this line of thunderstorms here. And we still have severe thunderstorm warnings in place along that line and ahead of it for that threat of destructive wind gusts as high as 80 miles per hour. And we've still been dealing with seeing some reports of damage, not only to structures, but also to trees, the potential for some power outages as they've been rolling through the night. So again, that tornado watch still in place for portions of western Iowa. It still includes some of the Nebraska side here, but I don't think that's going to be a concern for us now that that line of storms has passed. That tornado watch really going to be more of a concern through portions of western Iowa. This has left us with a huge cool down. Those strong winds are driving in much colder air for us. We've already dropped over 20 degrees for many areas. You can see ahead of that line of storms in the 70s, behind it down into the 50s. So this is bringing in a really big change and will continue to cool through the night. And those strong winds will unfortunately be staying with us. And for many of us, even picking up in intensity behind this line of storms. So you can plan on temperatures falling into the 30s as we move through the late night hours tonight, coupled with very strong winds up through about 8 to 9 p.m. We'll be taking you through that hour by hour forecast here coming up in just a little bit. Guys.
All right, thanks, Emily. Brian Mastry's been out in the storm this afternoon and had quite an experience, too.
Yeah, he joins us now from Midtown Omaha. Brian, what are you seeing?
Laura and John, we're here at 70th and Leavenworth, and this looks like one of the remnants of the bad part of the wind. Behind me, if you see, this tree came down at the height of the storm. It is smashed into this one-level home. You can see there's clearly roof damage. We don't know if it's leaking inside or if it punctured a hole into the roof. Otherwise, you can manage. Neighbors tell us that the woman inside is okay. Apparently, she did not want to chat about the experiences, which I totally understand. It is a storm that's very sporadic. It has started to sprinkle here again, and the wind has died down, but it's still chilly. You know, it was really warm all day long, and then now suddenly it's got a crispness to the air. These guys have some fixing up to do, and neighbors, when we were walking up, said that there was another tree nearby that also fell onto a place, so we'll look into that and let you know. Reporting live from 70th and Leavenworth, Brian Mastery, 6 News.
All right, Brian, we are so happy that that woman inside that house is okay.
Boy, it's just a mess to clean up, though, and it's time will help.
Yes, exactly. All right, right now we want to get to meteorologist Mallory Schnell. She is out in our 6 alert storm tracker.
Mallory, you've seen quite a bit this afternoon. Where are you, and what did you see?
Good evening, you two. I am currently heading east on the center, just now passing 183rd Street. So we've been kind of hanging out in the western side of Douglas County. We did edge down toward Gretna now that the storms have moved through to try to see if we can find any damage that is being reported through the western side of the metro. And so far what I've seen, some tree damage, some reports of maybe some roof damage as well, but we just pulled into a lot where we thought we saw some damage and it was actually kind of a supply lot. So that's what we were seeing there. But I would say some good news is obviously the power is on here as we continue to move east down center because all the lights are working. So we're seeing that, and we're seeing that with the businesses as well. Traffic much lighter than what we would typically see, of course, this time of day as people did heed the warnings, and of course school was out as well. But all in all, we've been seeing some of that tree damage primarily, some reports of trampolines and maybe some fence damage as well. So we'll continue to survey this west side of the Omaha Metro, but very thankful that the storms are now through this area and that they did move through quickly. So I'll toss things back to you all in the studio.
All right, Mallory. Mallory did mention power is on where she's at. At one point this afternoon, about 18,000 customers, OPPD, were without power.
Yeah, we have that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to keep on top of those. Right now, we want to get out to reports of damage west of Omaha in Saunders County. We have Mike McKnight. He's joining us live now from UTAN. Mike, what are you seeing out there?
And took heed when it was time.
Well, I'm here with Mr. Rick Hancock, correct?
Yes.
And what happened to your house behind us? As you can see, it's got a big hole in the roof now.
Yeah.
What happened?
The tree came, the limbs came out of the tree and hit the house, and that was it. Fortunately, nobody's houses are gone, and everybody in town, as far as I know, is fine. So.
Now, where were you at this time?
In the basement.
Now, did you hear it crash?
No. All I heard was the wind and tinkles of hail or whatever you want to call them. I don't know what it was. They said there might be hail coming too, but I just heard something hitting the glass panes on the basement window.
And then this?
Came up, and there it was.
How bad?
How bad what?
The damage there.
I don't know. I got to call into my insurance agent. I suppose I'll find out tomorrow.
I noticed the UTAN Fire Department was out here and they helped you get the limb off of there. So it was a lot worse a little bit ago.
Yeah. All of that was pretty much sitting on top of the house until they came.
And so it's great to have neighbors come out and help, huh?
Yes, it is.
All right, we'll be checking other, thanks, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be checking other damage reports out in this west location, west of Omaha. Guys?
Mike McKnight reporting live, and we did touch on power. This line of storms blasting the metro and the power outages. I mentioned there were 18,000 earlier. That number's up to 23,000 now. Customers without power, OPPD, about 3,000 in Douglas County, 2,800 in Sarpy, and in Washington, 6,600. Cass County, 4,200, and Saunders County, 2,200.
All right.
Wide expanse.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to a live look now at the Mid-American Energy out map for Iowa. Right now, 9,300 customers are without power in Council Bluffs. The total outage numbers that number is 16,000. That total outage number tops 16,000. 6 News is on your side tracking the storm. Before striking the metro, cities further west were pummeled earlier this afternoon. We do want to show you this new video. Go ahead and take a look. This is from the Nebraska DOT camera network. This is near Grand Island around 2 o'clock this afternoon. You can see just how fast the storm moved through and packed a punch. Within about a minute, visibility cut out almost completely. And this feed on this camera actually dropped out. It's a clear example of the dangers that we've been telling you about all week that we could see from these storms.
We're going to take a short break. Sharon Chet is standing by at the live desk, and she'll join us shortly.
6 News is on your side. Here's another look at what this storm looked like as it rolled in earlier near Lincoln.
Next question.
Archie, is this your first meeting with Caesar and Cleopatra?
We met in Miami in 2007. Ah, the helmet catch. Right, you know?
Actually, that was 2008 in Phoenix. Miami was Peyton's first Super Bowl.
Honoring Heartland heroes.
Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands is proud to support our community.
6 on your side. This month, we're honoring the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Midlands.
Corwin Toyota of Bellevue is a proud sponsor of Heartland Heroes.
'Tis the season for some yum yums, yum 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 yum.
A holiday family feast for your tum-tums.
Tum 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 tum. And here's a deal to save you money. It's a $0 delivery fee. Go to IHOP.com if you're hungry.
Add your SNAP EBT card with Amazon and have your family's favorite foods delivered right to your door for free. Adding your card is a snap and lets you enjoy exclusive deals, free access to Amazon Fresh, and 50% off Prime. Making saving simpler at family mealtime so you can focus on what matters most. Add your card and start saving today. Add your SNAP EBT card with Amazon and have your family's favorite foods delivered right to your door for free. Adding your card is a snap and lets you enjoy exclusive deals, free access to Amazon Fresh, and 50% off Prime. Making saving simpler at family mealtime so you can focus on what matters most. Add your card.
Well, staying on top of our first alert day coverage, we are keeping a close eye on this line of thunderstorms that's been moving through the day. This brought very strong, damaging wind gusts as well as several reports of tornadoes. And we still have that threat for severe weather moving through portions of western Iowa, but that severe weather threat has already cleared the metro, and portions of eastern Nebraska are in the clear as far as this line of thunderstorms is concerned. But we still have some concerns for tornadoes out there tonight. We have a tornado warning still in place. This is running along this line of thunderstorms here, including this portion of I-80 just out to the east of Atlantic, east-northeast of Atlantic. So watching this very closely here as it continues to move out to the east quickly. This line of thunderstorms has been tracking through between about 70 to 75 miles per hour, bringing with it incredibly strong winds. So all along this line of thunderstorms here, still that widespread concern for damaging wind gusts, as well as what we're seeing right now, some little spin-ups that are bringing in that potential for tornado development. So because of that, still have some tornado watches in place. Although the metro is still included in that, that's no longer going to be a concern for us moving forward. That focus is out over western Iowa, and once that line of thunderstorms clears, that is going to bring in more clearing conditions and no more threat for severe thunderstorm potential. However, the wind is going to be staying with us, and right now we're tracking very strong gusts. You can see reports right now of gusts into the 70s around Harlan, 81 mile per hour gusts around Denison, and as we move down to the south, gusts are coming in very steadily into the 30s, 40s, and even 50s. A report of 51 mile per hour wind gust out around Falls City, and that threat for strong winds will be staying with us as we move through the night. We'll have a look at your hour-by-hour forecast coming up here shortly. Guys?
All right, Emily, right now we want to go ahead and get to our Severe Studios chaser, Vince Welty. He's on the ground. This is near Atlantic, Iowa. The storm is still packing a punch as it heads further east. As you can see, there are emergency crews there out on the highways.
This is live video, too, by the way, that you're looking at.
And you can't really see much. It's clearly dark out there right now. That lightning is going. So, of course, if you were out that way, you want to get off those roadways.
Yeah, I remember Rusty talking about how Atlantic was going to perhaps be touched by this storm in a severe way. And I'm not sure it ever reached that far, but this whole area had been under a tornado warning at one point this evening.
And the storm system spawning multiple tornadoes today. That storm continues to march east, and we're going to keep on top of it. We're going to be back here in just a minute.
Our week-long journey across America, from Washington, D.C., outside of our nation's capital, you rarely see.
It's your last move.
I was talking.
Tis the season for some yum yums, yum 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 yum.
A holiday family feast for your tum-tums.
Tum 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 tum. And here's a deal to save you money. It's a $0 delivery fee. Go to IHOP.com if you're hungry.
Did you know that by using Snap EBT on Amazon, you can have all your holiday groceries delivered right to your door for free? Get all your family's favorite seasonal pantry staples and Amazon Fresh items with exclusive deals and discounts. So you can save and savor the best of the season. Add your card and start saving today. Add your Snap EBT card with Amazon and get your groceries delivered right to your door for free. Plus, free access to Amazon Fresh, 50% off Prime, and more. Add your card and start saving today.
Over the past year, the Nebraska Strong Recovery Project has been working around the state to provide support to Nebraskans impacted by COVID-19. From educators and essential workers to farmers and factory workers. Together, we are Nebraska Strong.
Tis the season for some yum yums, yum 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 yum.
A holiday family feast for your tum-tums.
Tum 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 tum.
Hey, breaking news. There are reports of damage from this storm.
We have Sharon Chen tracking the latest from the live desk. Sharon, what can you tell us?
Right, Lauren and John, as we know, this storm came through like a freight train, and we are now starting to see some of that damage come into our newsroom. As we go through social media this afternoon, you can see this situation here at 192nd and Center, where the roof was completely blown off a home. You can see it right there in the bushes right here. And then as we come back out and we continue down this stream, you can see here, these are the lights at 180th and Center, and the winds were so strong that some of these lights are facing the wrong direction. They were blown by the wind. And I'm sure that we're going to get much more of these, but this right here, one of many, many tree damage reports. This tree obviously cracked right here. You can see it pretty much just split and in the front yard of this home. And we're getting numerous reports of tree damage coming into our newsroom, and we'll go through those and bring those to you as we get them. But one thing we have not heard, which is great news, is that no one has been hurt so far. No reports of any injuries. That's it from the live desk. We'll send it back to you, Lauren and John.
Your First Alert forecast is sponsored by H&H Roofing.
H&H is the place to call for all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs. If your roof is damaged or simply needs an upgrade, give us a call today.
H&H Roofing, we've got you covered.
Well, we're continuing to track this line of strong thunderstorms out there tonight. It's moving through western Iowa and should be exiting the coverage area here very shortly. But as it does so, it is holding on to its strength. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings issued along this entire line, as well as a few areas that are dealing with active tornado warnings. This one I want to highlight here. This is just out to the east of Atlantic, and this is an observed tornado here. The warning for this running until 5:45. This is moving very quickly. You can see this pushing into the Guthrie Center area. So this is starting to move out of our coverage area, but an observed tornado here, and this is bringing in that concern again, still along this line of storms for tornado development as this all tracks through. So this does cover portions of I-80. So if you are along this line of thunderstorms or just ahead of it, this is not something you want to be out traveling in. This is still bringing in that concern for some severe weather. Now, out across the metro, things are quieting down as far as the severe thunderstorm threat is concerned. The wind, that is going to be a whole other issue for us as we move through the night tonight. Behind this line of storms, we have drastically cooled. We were in the 70s earlier, now made that fall into the 50s. We still have strong winds out there tonight that will continue to track behind this line of thunderstorms here. So this is pushing out and should be out of our coverage area here as we move through the 6 o'clock hour, completely clearing out of that thunderstorm threat. But you'll notice behind it, off to the northwest, we're looking out toward Norfolk as we get some wraparound behind this system here. Brings in the potential for a little light snow to follow, and this comes along with that chance still for some very strong wind gusts before things really start to clear out as we move on into our Thursday. Leaves us with a chill. We're starting our Thursday in the 30s and 20s for most of the region, and then only warming up compared to today. This is a huge cool down. We're going to be only warming into the mid-40s for most heading into tomorrow afternoon. The wind, however, is going to be an ongoing concern for us as we move through the night tonight. We still have that potential for very strong and damaging gusts out there. Our peak wind so far today, Lincoln recording a gust of 93 miles per hour earlier this afternoon. Beatrice reporting a gust of 86 miles per hour. Denison 81, 72 for that peak gust around Harlan, and Omaha reporting a gust of 74 miles per hour. We still have more strong wind potential out there as we move through the night tonight. So let's take you through that hour by hour forecast as far as our winds are concerned. As we move forward by about 7:30, we still have that concern for gusts as high as the 50s and 60s for most, and isolated gusts as high as the 70s to 80s. We're bringing in that potential around Red Oak, around Shenandoah, around Nebraska City for gusts as high as the 70s and 80s through the nighttime hours. Once we hit about 10 p.m., we start to see some more widespread improvement. Our gusts are down to the 40s and 50s at this point and continue to lighten from here. By the time we hit about 3:30 in the morning, you might still hear some howling gusts, but only into the 30s and 40s. We'll stay breezy through most of the day on Thursday, but the wind will not be as strong compared to what we had out there today. We'll start to see continued improvement moving forward. Thursday, bringing our high temperatures down to the mid-40s, low 40s by the time we hit Friday, and then that cool air really settles in over the weekend. Saturday, only reaching a high of 28 degrees, and from there, our high temperatures will stay cool, but still most days above that seasonal mark with high temperatures in the 40s through most of the week ahead and a relatively quiet outlook as well. You can stay on top of tonight's severe weather coverage and that continued wind threat by downloading our 6 First Alert weather app. You can find that free in the App Store. That has been a fantastic resource for people today. With that threat for power outages, it's a great way to stay informed about what's going on.
You think maybe in about 5 minutes you can relax a little bit?
You know, in about 5 minutes, that storm's going to be just about out of here. So looking forward to that. I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, the calm after the storm.
Yeah.
All
Great
right.
coverage all afternoon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Emily. 6 News continues tracking the storm. We want to get to this video. This is from Severe Studios storm chaser Freddie McKinney.
And this is difficult to see. I mean, I think you can see the windshield wiper going through, but look at the visibility. And that's what a number of people reported. When the storm hit them, they couldn't see anything. And it went by very quickly, but this is kind of what he's encountering here, it looks like.
Well, and as I mentioned earlier, as it gets dark outside, you know, the storm has spawned multiple tornadoes today, so very dangerous as it gets dark. We saw what happened in Kentucky over the weekend, so if you have family in Iowa right now and they are on the front of this storm, and if they have not experienced this storm yet, you'll want to tell them to keep an eye on their local news as it moves out of our viewing area. We are going to stay on top of this, though, and we're going to bring you the latest throughout the night.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Godfather's Pizza.
If we weren't proud of the craftsmanship and level of detail that go into every pair of Warby Parker glasses, well, we probably wouldn't show you how they're made. Or offer you 5 pairs to try for free at warbyparker.com.
Chevy is taking people lots of places this holiday.
We're going sledding! Tis the season for some yum yums, yum 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 yum.
A holiday family feast for your tum-tums.
Tum 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 tum. And here's a deal to save you money. It's a $0 delivery fee. Go to IHOP.com if you're hungry.
Add your SNAP EBT card to Amazon and get all your holiday groceries delivered right to your door for free. More family favorite pantry staples, more Amazon Fresh items, more saving and savoring the season. Add your card today.
There's still time to find the perfect holiday gift. NFM has everything you need to finish up your list all in one trip. Shop toys, electronics, recliners, cooking appliances, and home decor. Gifts for the kids, family, holiday parties, friends, and more. And NFM gift cards make the perfect gift. Shop in-store or online and use drive-through pickup to get it home fast. Plus, shop with 24-month financing. Holiday cheer. It's all right here at NFM.
Did you know that by using SNAP EBT on Amazon, you can have all your holiday groceries delivered right to your door for free? Get all your family's favorite seasonal pantry staples and Amazon Fresh items with exclusive deals and discounts. So you can save and savor the best of the season. Add your card and start saving today.
Back with your check. Yep.
It's okay, everyone. I got this.
Are you a doctor?
Negative. I just watch a ton of medical dramas on Sling TV. Good news, her kidneys are beating.
Sling has live sports, news, and entertainment. It's the live TV you love and on demand for just $35 a month.
I need tweezers, rubbing alcohol, and a Western omelet.
With Sling, you're confident you get the best of live TV.
You're gonna be fine.
Maybe too confident. Get your first month now for only $10. Sling.
Hi, I'm Reese Davis, host of ESPN's College Game Day, here with Sling to help some fans make their signs. Follow me. Let's get these signs ready for game day.
Reese, is this a commercial for Sling?
Maybe.
Watch college football for only $10 your first month.
The storm moved quickly through the metro, the heavy wind, or the heavy rain, and the high winds.
And right now we want to get right on out to Brian Mastery. He joins us now live from Midtown. Brian, what can you tell us?
Laura and John, the big story, at least, everyone is okay, but you can see how this would rattle someone. At the height of the storm, we're here at 70th and Leavenworth. That huge branch came crashing down onto this rental home. It's damaged the eaves. It looks like it's bent at least the front of the roof, so there are some repairs in order. But again, like I said, everyone is okay, so that's the good takeaway. The other takeaway, the Good Samaritans. While we've been here in the last 45 minutes, someone came up and went up to the door and said, hey, I got a chainsaw. I can help you out. So it's good well wishes here. It's good to be surrounded by good people. Reporting live, I'm Brian Mastry, 6 News.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, I gotta love all the neighbors around here. Everybody helping each other during a time like this.
For sure.
All right, Emily, that storm is moving out of our viewing area right now. What can you tell us?
Well, happy to see it move out now that the sun has set. This would be an even more dangerous situation without the daylight. We're starting to watch that line of thunderstorms push out of the eastern edge of our coverage area. Still very strong winds associated with this, and it's producing still many tornado warnings out along that line. From here, our concern shifts from a severe thunderstorm threat to a strong wind threat. We're still looking ahead out there to gusts currently reaching into the 40s, 50s, reports of a wind gusting into the 80s still around Denison, and we have that opportunity for more very strong winds, gust as high as the 60s, 70s, and even 80s as we move through the rest of the night tonight. So that wind threat stays with us, but that severe thunderstorm threat, thankfully, now that the sun has gone down, is moving out of the area. So we're expecting to see quite a few reports of damage, unfortunately, thanks to those strong winds, and we are starting to see those reports roll in out there tonight, but happy to see that severe threat coming to an end.
Hopefully get power back on for people as well.
All right, we're going to be keeping on top of this throughout the night. You can always visit our website, WOWT.com, for the latest. That wraps up 6 News, live at 5.
Get WOWT 6 News anytime, anywhere. Download our free news and First Alert weather apps.